Well, I hope I'm live. I can't really tell. It's been a couple months since I did a live and I can't remember how to do it. So I'm just going to check my microphone here. It looks like I'm on video. And I scheduled this live way early. I set it up on Wednesday, and normally I don't set it up until Friday or even the day before on Saturday. So I don't even know if YouTube is even showing this thumbnail to anybody or has been yesterday and today. But we'll see what happens. We'll see who joins in. Um, oh, thank you, Shanti. You can see and hear me. That's wonderful. And welcome. So we're just going to give the first couple of minutes to give people a chance to join. And then we'll go ahead and get started. But it is an absolutely glorious day out. I always like sharing what I see. I don't know if you can see out my windows. Kind of, but it's absolutely beautiful. So instead of me out on a nature walk, I'm here with everyone. So, yeah, we'll get started in just a second here. But I'm glad my microphone and everything is working. And if you want to go ahead and, I know you said you had a couple of questions, Shanti, you can go ahead and start asking me. Oh, you're welcome, Shanti. So right now it's, just so everyone knows, it's 10 o'clock here in Colombia. And on the East Coast, Eastern Daylight Time, it's 11 a.m. And one thing you have to realize if you visit or move to Colombia is that daylight savings is not recognized here. So we are actually in the same time zone as the East Coast of the United States. So for half of the year, when it's not daylight savings time, I'm in the same time zone, exact same time as people in Florida, New York, North Carolina. But this time of year, I am an hour actually behind. So it gets a little confusing, but 1 hour is not a big deal. But that's the difference with us not recognizing daylight savings time. And I used to think, oh gosh, that's just so cool of Colombia and so progressive, because the US should do that too. And just how this wonderful Colombia is to realize that and to never have adopted daylight savings time. But then I later read there's a reason for it, and that is that there is really no change with the arc of the sun because we're so close to the equator. There's no need for it. Like, we don't have mass differences of amount of light in the summer versus the winter and that type of thing. So that's the main reason why we don't recognize it here in Colombia. And oh, hi, Alba, welcome. So glad you're here. That's wonderful. And Shanti says, if I come as a tourist, do I need any shots to get into the country? Same question if I come to live. No, not in this region, and not in Bogota region. The major cities, the areas that you've most likely heard of, also the northern coast. There are some vaccinations that are necessary very far south. Those are in jungle areas, but we're not anywhere near that. So no, there's no need for any additional vaccinations of any kind. Hi, Cruise Expert. How are you? Oh, Cruise Expert is giving out my real name, which is fine. Everyone can. It's Shelby. And there's an actual reason. I'll tell the story real quick why I went by Nana. I decided to retire during COVID. And it was time to renew my lease at my art gallery. They were raising the price even more. Everything was shut down in the state of Florida. And I thought, you know what? I'm a little young to retire, even though it was legally retirement age for Social Security. I'm just going to go ahead and not renew my lease because I don't know what's going to happen to the future of the world really at that point. So anyway, I started looking into alternatives, and I ended up buying a Winnebago incredible van, a B-class RV, and I lived in it for 2 years, and I rented out my place in Florida. And I made a video about that, why I decided to become an expat and not do that anymore. But anyway, my kids were a little freaked out when I decided to do van life, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, you and little Petunia are going to be all by yourself traveling all over the country. So they're a little worried. And then after 2 years doing that, I said, well, I think I'm going to leave the country. I think that's the answer, because I didn't want to work anymore. I wanted to truly retire, and I couldn't afford to do that in the US. So I said I was going to do that. And they're like, oh, like where? And then I told my kids it was Colombia, and they absolutely freaked out. They were so worried about me. And so then they calmed down after they saw it here, and everything was fine. And then a year into living here, I announced to them that I was going to start a YouTube channel about my life here. And they said, oh my gosh, you can't go with your real name. It's so unusual for someone your age, which it is. I'm probably the only female born in the 1950s. Or just any person, let alone female, in the US, because the name Shelby became popular with the Steel Magnolias movie that came out in the 80s. Anyway, so I said, okay, I'll just come up with a name rather than just using my first name, Shelby, if that worries you. So that's what my grandson calls me. So that's the long story. That's why I go by Nana. So you heard it all, Cruz. Okay, Shanti asks another question, and let's see. Will they require travel insurance to get into the country? What will they require when I land in the airport? Sorry, I used a little powder, for the video makeup, and I think I actually, it's whatever's in it. I'm a little bit allergic. Not as a tourist. So if you come to visit, you don't need travel insurance. I mean, it's always obviously advisable if you travel to have travel insurance. It's not required, but it is required if you apply for a visa, Shanti. So whether it's a retirement visa, investment visa, whatever the case may be, a digital nomad visa, you have to show proof of insurance. And it has to be an insurance company that Colombia recognizes as well, and authorizes. So that's something you absolutely have to have if you come. But if you come just as a tourist, and that visa, it's not actually a visa, you just show your passport at immigration. That's for 90 days. You can extend it another 90. So everyone knows you can stay in Colombia up to 6 months out of the year. And do keep in mind, these are days that are counted. So don't just go by, oh, I was there in March and half of April. No. You literally have to count the days. And plus, I would not advise to go anywhere on a tourist visa and have it down to the wire, by the day. You want to give yourself some leeway. But for that type of travel, no, it's not required. Hi, historic, downtown Sanford. That's a cool name, Sanford. I'm trying to guess where Sanford is. You'll have to let me know what state that's in or country. How far is Retiro from Rio Negro Airport, and how much is a 3/2, 3-bedroom, 2-bath there, mostly condos or homes? Okay, historic. That's a really good question. And what I want to show everyone, and I do this in my consults, because on Zoom, I technically don't know how, there has to be a way I could actually draw a diagram and point at it. I've got to learn how to do that, but I'm going to show you. Oh no, it's backwards. So I can't do it because it's backwards. Anyway, this area is basically an oval, and you have Medellín. Oh, it's backwards. But anyway, Medellín is in the upper left-hand corner. And it's just so hard to do it backwards. Anyway, our region is like this, historic. And literally, if you cut this oval in half, the left-hand half is the municipality of El Retiro, and the right-hand half is Rio Negro, and everything fingers together. We have within these municipalities, we have Gualanday, Llano Grande, San Antonio, and El Retiro. And then right on the lower edge is La Ceja. All of it bleeds together. So when I was looking at where to live, it didn't matter to me whether it was a La Ceja address, a Rio Negro address. I saw a place in San Antonio that I liked, another one in Llano Grande. It didn't matter. It's also close to one another. So when you ask me how far is El Retiro from the airport, well, if you're talking the Pueblo, I would say half an hour, because it's tucked in off the main road. But where I live, it's more like maybe 20, 25 minutes. If I was further down via Las Palmas, still in El Retiro, it would be easily just only 20 minutes. So again, it's good idea not to hyper focus. This whole region is gorgeous. There are pockets, some neighborhoods, or I shouldn't even say neighborhoods because it's countryside. Some developments are more high end, some are not. So your question about price, I can't give you one for a 3-2. If you're in and around the pueblo of El Retiro itself, uh, a 3-2 house is probably going to be expensive. It's probably going to be higher end. And I don't know if you're asking to rent or to buy, so I can't really answer your question. But as far as rentals go in this region, you can pay as little as $500 a month, or you can pay thousands a month if you want to have a full estate or a finca with acreage and, just major piece of land and gorgeous, mansion on it. But there's plenty of variety here. There's definitely affordability. So the best thing that I always recommend is to come and visit and to see it because of the diversity and price points here. And hi, Louise, welcome. Random question that popped up into your head. Okay. You're literally on your way to vote in your state primary. How difficult is it to vote US elections? That is governed by your state. So as we know, in the United States, the states set the rules. So some states allow mail-in voting a certain way, some don't, et cetera. Florida, sadly, where I'm from, because it's a very conservative state, tends to limit voter, access and things sometimes. That if you are outside the country, you can't vote unless you're military. But most states in the United States allow it if you're, because people travel, people, here, there, everywhere, that you could certainly, vote if you're not in your state at that time. So just check with your state election board and you'll find the answer for that. Oh, good question. Shante asks, does Colombia require proof of return trip when you come on a tourist trip? Pretty much any country does. They don't, a foreign country doesn't want you entering that country without showing that you intend to leave. So that's a really good point, Shanti, that I point out to people that are moving here. Let's say they visited, they have a return trip. Let's say you're visiting and you have a return trip, but you want to keep it flexible. Then get an open-ended return trip. Whenever you buy an airline ticket, there's always the option to have it be flexible, meaning it's refundable or changeable without a fee. Or you can just do the it's still not 100% non-refundable, but they'll charge you a slap on a big fee if you do it, most airlines. So it's a good idea to then have your return ticket be a flexible one. You could buy a one-way at the discounted non-refundable price, your return ticket as a changeable/refundable one. That is very important on the trip when you actually move here. And that is because you're all set and ready to go. You have stuff ready, maybe to ship, maybe not. You've got your 4 suitcases and everything. You arrive at the airport, and of course, you're not going back, at least not for a long time. You don't have a return ticket. And your airline, this is up to the airline, might refuse you to get on the plane because you don't have a return ticket. And that's because they're afraid in immigration that you're going to have a problem. So I always advise people when you're moving here, even though it's tempting to just buy that one-way ticket, you buy 2 tickets, the one-way coming down, non-refundable, buy your refundable return ticket, pick a date, any date, just make it up within the 90 days. And then as soon as you get here, you can get your money refunded from the airline. But that's the proper way to do it. And that way you won't have any trouble with immigration whatsoever. Hi, Donna. Welcome. So glad you're here. I'm doing great, and I hope you are too. Thanks for joining us. Oh, you're welcome, Louise. Oh, it's Mr. Santa Marta. Hi, happy in Santa Marta. How is it there? Is it going to be a warm one? We're going to have probably the sun's out. I can always predict it. If it's a gray day, it's probably anywhere from high 60s to low 70s. And if the sun's out, the highest it gets in my region is probably about 75. Medellin, though, because it's down in a bowl, is much hotter. It can be up to a 10-degree Fahrenheit difference in Medellin when the sun's out. Hi, Katina. I think it's Katina. It's hard for me to read. Sorry. This is why I do my lives on a laptop, not on a phone, because the writing's a little bigger. I don't know what you asked initially, what you're referring to, Katina. You're asking, does that still apply if you have your visa before you leave? I think you're talking about having a return ticket. No, once you have a visa, so retirement visa, investment visa, digital nomad visa, you have to, I always put inside my passport a folded copy of my digital visa. So that way I can show that at immigration. I don't have to open up my phone to show the digital one. I just hand my passport with the visa. And no, you don't have to show in that case that you're returning to the US. So good question. Hey, Wilson, welcome. You're asking how much do I pay for my car insurance a month? I'm really bad at remembering numbers. I'm not dyslexic, but that's like the one thing that I don't remember well specifically. But I think it's around 100 a month, and I have really good insurance. And just so you know, in Colombia, the liability insurance is not through your insurance company. That comes with your car registration. So you pay to register your car each year, and then your collision insurance, theft, things like that, you get on your own. So it's around $100 a month that I pay, but I've got good insurance that covers everything, and also roadside service, and that kind of stuff. Katina is asking, does that still apply if you have your visa before you? Okay, I already was there. Sorry. Happy in Santa Marta says it's a hot day. Well, that makes sense because you're at sea level and I'm not. So it's going to be warmer on the coast, on the Caribbean coast of Colombia, because you guys are at sea level there. Oh, you have a rainy season there too in Santa Marta. That makes sense because Panama has a rainy season. We have two times of year, just so everyone knows, we have more rain, but it's not considered a rainy season because it doesn't rain all day, every day. But it usually rains sometime during the day. And oftentimes that's at night. But we do have more cloudy days those times of year. And if I were planning a trip just to visit Colombia, I'd avoid these times because you want bright sunny days most of the time, and it's just a nicer way to see a country. So the time I would not come is the month of October into the first half or first week of November, and the month of April into the first half of May. You're guaranteed many, many more sunny days if you come other than those times. Storage companies, no, those are not typical here. Believe it or not, they're not. So the best thing to do, Shanti, if you move here and you are bringing more than 4 suitcases, is that you set it up with a shipping company ahead of time, what you want to ship here. If you haven't gotten settled here yet, don't know where you're living, they will store that for you there. They'll pack your pallets or whatnot and keep them at the shipping company until you're ready. And that's what I did. I shipped a pallet, not an entire container, because that was crazy expensive. And I don't advise it because you don't need to buy, bring huge appliances and your furniture and stuff here, because all those things are less expensive here. And Happy in St. Marta says that he saves money and takes taxis and private car service or a plane. That makes sense. It depends on where you live. The reason I have a car, I wasn't necessarily planning to. Again, I told everyone that this area is, it's about this oval. Sorry, it's backwards. This oval I was showing you is only about 35 minutes from one end to the other of the oval. I can't point because everything's backwards. But no, so it just depends. I mean, you could be right in a pueblo, or you could be, this is a countryside area. So, and it's scattered with all different beautiful communities and whatnot, but you could drive, equivalent to a mile or two down the road before you get to the next community. And that's typical in the US too. Once you get outside of the city, even in suburbia, do you literally walk outside your door and you can walk to all your shopping and everything? Most likely not. And if you're off on a mountain road like I am, I don't have a bus service that goes up my mountain road. It's mostly private homes and a few apartment communities, and I'm up another 1,000 feet. So I knew when I fell in love with my apartment that I would need a car. Also, Ubers aren't always reliable. They say they're coming and then they don't, because they get a more, this close in town kind of a ride and whatnot. So Johan, who I think most of you have met that know my channel, when I have to go to the airport, things like that, I have Johan take me because I wouldn't want to count on an Uber. But that's not true in most cases all around El Retiro. I'm going to call it county, even though it's municipality. El Retiro County, Rio Negro County, La Ceja, all of that. Most places an Uber will come. But if you're off on a country road, yeah, that might take a while, or yeah, they might not show up. So you need to kind of evaluate where you're living, whether you need a car or not. And because I was a little surprised, because I thought I'd be living in a place where I didn't need a car and I'd be just using Uber and public transport, but I fell in love with this apartment. And so instead of buying a larger one, I ended up buying a smaller apartment so I could fit into my budget the buying of a car. So, there's always a compromise here and there. Nothing is ever 100% perfect, but I must say that having a car here has been wonderful. There's so much to do. There's so many cultural activities. There's so many. I still, as you know, in my videos, I haven't seen nearly anything. I've only touched the tip of the iceberg of all the things there are to see and do here. So I do have that ease of access. I can go wherever I want, whenever I want in the car, and I do like that. Is it necessary everywhere here? No, but for me, it's been great. Shanti asked, how much was it to ship a pallet? The pallet for me, and this was 2 years ago, was around $1,100. It's most shipments come from Miami that go to Colombia. I happen to live in Florida, so that $1,100 also included coming and getting all my boxes and packing my pallet at the company in Miami, and then the shipping of the pallet, it went inside a container that company puts other people's pallets inside that container. They also ship entire containers too, included that. And then from the port, which is up on the coast, up close to where Happy lives, then it came by truck right to my door, right to my apartment, way down here in Eastern Antioquia. So all of that for $1,100. So it was really reasonable. And for my consult and tour clients, I have a whole list of companies I refer people to, the most reliable people that I've used, and the best price, for just about anything that you would need here. I pass on that information. Let's see here. Obrina is asking who I use. It's called GVA Shipping in Miami. Yes, Happy. That's absolutely. If I had lived, he's saying that you don't want to have a car in the city. Oh, I agree. If I lived in Medellin, I wouldn't have a car. I'd be taking the metro, walking, using Rappi to deliver stuff, that kind of life. But it's just different out here. Um, just a different lifestyle. No, I have not, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. I have not been to Bogota yet. I do plan on going. The big one, two big differences. Bogota is a major, major city. It's even bigger than Medellin, but it is divided into neighborhoods. There's another YouTube creator who gives a lot of info on Bogota, and he's a friend of mine, a cyber friend of mine, and that's Matt Griffin, the Americano. He talks a lot about Bogota on his channel. I would say the biggest difference, other than the fact it's a hustle bustle big city, so it's obviously different than my region of Eastern Antioquia, which is much more low key, is the climate. I call this region well, I don't, but it's known as the region of the eternal spring. I would say Bogota is more eternal fall. So in other words, you don't have temperatures that go down to freezing, but it's more chilly there. So it's more typically in the 60s in the highs, maybe mid 60s. Whereas here in my region of Eastern Antioquia, its typical highs are in the low 70s, and the highest high would be mid 70s. So true, Happy. Yes, flights within Colombia are very inexpensive, and absolutely. And I wouldn't, especially being a woman alone, but even if I went with a friend, I'm not going to be driving all over the country, not knowing is there going to be a gas station coming up, or I have an electric car now, which that's a whole nother video. You're going to see that soon, all about my electric car. So definitely I wouldn't be driving that all over the country, but yeah, it's less expensive and just so much more convenient. And I'm so close to the airport, 20 minutes, and I could be anywhere, in Colombia. I think the flight from Medellin, which the airport is out by me, it's not the little airport in Medellin, but the major airport for Medellin is out by me. The flight to Bogota, I think, is only like 35 minutes or something, 40 minutes at the most. So it's super fast. But yeah, I could come up and see you too, Happy, in just a hop, skip, and a jump, a quick little flight. Hi, Michael, I think it says Chicago, but I can't tell. Hi, Michael, welcome. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoy my videos. Yeah, you're asking about other cities, and that's going to be upcoming over the next year. When I came here, I've only had the channel for a year, and I've been here a little over 2 years. When I first came, it was with my little dog, Petunia. She was 14 at the time. And she sadly passed away late fall, and she was 16. And she had a heart condition, which was actually something she was born with, but didn't show up until much later in life. And I had a wonderful vet here who was great. She had 2 wonderful years here despite the heart condition. But because of that, I didn't travel with her or fly with her or anything. So I didn't go anywhere. But I do plan on visiting. I've been to places that I can drive to, like Concepcion, of course, Medellin, Santa Elena, uh, just other areas that I've driven to, but I haven't flown anywhere yet and gone and visited any other areas. I really feel very strongly that I found the best area for me as far as living. Am I curious to visit other parts of Colombia? Yes, but I know that I found the right fit as far as where I want to live in Colombia. Oh, and I want to for sure visit the Coffee Triangle. Yeah, cruise expert is saying that, yeah, Bogota is pretty cold in comparison to Medellin for sure. Oh, you watch Matt too, Shanti? Yeah, I love his channel. He's so funny, so quick-witted. He's great and very, very informative. Oh, Tracy is here. She's telling me I look beautiful. Oh, thank you. Well, I kind of dress up for my lives. I don't usually look like this every day. It's a chance to put on makeup and and just look a little better. You know, when you got the camera, Tracy knows this because she's got a great channel, and that's 60 and starting over. And she actually has two channels. We know each other from van life, and Tracy's coming to visit me. That's a whole nother video. We decided we're gonna do some Thelma and Louise stuff that week, except for driving off the cliff, but we're gonna have some fun adventures. That'll be so much fun having you here, Tracy. That'll be in August. Oh, cruise expert is saying Santa Marta is eternal heat and humidity. Well, you know, everybody's different. Some people love that. Listen, I'm from Florida and I was just tired of it. I mean, there's breaks in Florida though. So, I mean, the wintertime, the humidity drops. It's, you know, typical highs or upper 70s. But yeah, in places like Panama and the northern sea level coast of Colombia, it's definitely that heat and humidity is year round. But some people love it. I mean, they just love it, just running around in tank tops and don't mind, you know, getting a little sweaty and just swim a lot and, you know, spend time in the AC, you know, so every to each his or her own, really. Happy is talking about credit. I guess somebody earlier, and I missed it, asked about getting credit in Colombia. It's very hard to establish credit in Colombia as a foreigner. It would take years and years and years. So if you are looking at buying a house or a car and you can't pay cash for it, then it's definitely not going to be um, it's not going to be something you can do is get a car loan or get a mortgage. It's just not available. But what most people do, and the case with me was I downsized. So when I sold my place in Florida, I was able to, even with extra, you know, with the equity I had in my home, to afford a place here. So that's usually the case and how that happens. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you like my videos. And you say that your daughter's a college student and you're thinking of visiting, I guess, with her in January. That's great. Good time of year. And guys, that brings up something because as you know, I do consults and I offer relocation tours here too. So I talk to a lot of people and I'm used to, you know, what typical questions are or typical plans that people make. And sometimes I stop people dead in their tracks. Like I'll get a email that says, "Oh, well, we're thinking about coming over Christmas break. You know, bringing our college age, you know, son with us, and yeah, arriving." I had somebody ask just last week. Yeah, we're coming on December 20th and leaving on like the 26th. I'm like, you everything shuts down in Colombia. It is, you know, so seeing anything, going anywhere, a lot of restaurants are shut down, a lot of streets are shut down. It's just strictly people walking, people lighting candles, processionals, people going to families' houses, you know, for dinner, doing this and that. It is not a time of year to visit, to see what it would be like to live there. So in other words, look at, you know, properties to potentially rent or buy to get a feeling of pretty much anything. Is it an incredible time of year? Absolutely, yes. Should it be experienced? Yes. But if that's going to be your only visit to Colombia, you're not going to get a realistic version. And it's not just that, it's you're not going to be able to get around. Like half of Medellin closes down. You can't even get from my area into Medellin to go and see anything. So you'd be really, really restricted coming over the holidays. So you're mentioning coming in January, and that's definitely a good time of year, beautiful time of year here. Hi, Gone with the Wind. I love your screen name. There's a great coffee plantation tour on the outskirts of Armenia. Oh, I'm sure. And there are plantation tours everywhere. I'd love to do one in the Coffee Triangle, but there are quite a number of them here, right here where I am, right in Eastern Antioquia. We grow coffee, and all around outside of Medellín are coffee plantations, and some of them do tours as well. And Cruz is asking, do you need cash for day-to-day purchases? Do retail shops um, take TAP? Um, Most businesses will take your card most of the time. On a larger purchase, on big things, so let's say, oh, it's just hard to say. Like it could be like an insurance thing or just a major service type of thing. Some companies will have a surcharge for using a credit card because it's a big amount of money, and it could be anywhere between 2 and 4%. It's not customary in the U.S. to do that, but I can certainly understand a um, a Colombian company wanting to do that because most of the time in Colombia, people just pay with their QR code, or bank to bank. They just directly go from their Bank Colombia account to the business, and then there's no fee incurred by the business, or they pay in cash. But those situations are rare. If you're just visiting, you'll be fine with your card, except like let's say you want like street vendor, not everyone will have the swiper, but most places do. I mean, just like in the US, they have just a little portable thing that plugs in their phone and they take your chip, in your card. But it's a good idea to have cash when you're here. And I always recommend the Charles Schwab card for people from the United States because it's a debit card. There's no minimum deposit. There's no foreign transaction fees. You can just open a checking account for free and use that card, and there's no strings attached. And no, I'm not affiliated, but you ask most people that travel to foreign countries, most expats that are from the US have that card. And then there's a card in Canada, which I wrote down the other day because a Canadian client told me the name, but there's a card like that. There are credit cards that don't charge foreign transaction fees, but credit card is not as useful as a debit card like the Charles Schwab because the debit card you can use at the ATM to get cash out. And you're not going to be charged a cash advance fee, which a credit card would charge you, or a foreign transaction fee either. So it's definitely a good way to go. And you always want to have cash on you because, you never know. Hold on just one second. Sorry, my laptop just went a little goofy. Somebody's asking about Baba shops, and I guess I'm not hip and cool. Is Baba like what should you call it? Like those those like cannabis kind of places? I don't know. Shanti, you're I'm like, I don't know what you mean by Baba. I have no idea because I don't shop for Baba. So, and call me like a dingaling, but I am a dingaling when it comes to certain things. So just let me know what that is and then I'll let you know. Um, Hi, Michael in Los Angeles. Michael's so cute because whenever he comments on any of my videos, he said, "Hello, Nana. This is Michael in Los Angeles." And I used to live in Los Angeles too. So that's cute. He says, Shelby, excluding the recent increase in the peso, are real estate prices still increasing or leveling off? Okay, that's a big can of worms, Michael. 'Cause just with real estate, just with in general elections coming up, people have so many questions about that, the conversion rates changing, all of that. I'm not an economist. I'm not, an accountant. I'm not a real estate agent. But I can give you some general things that I know to be true and generally that I believe. So these are my personal opinions. Yes, real estate will continue to go up. I'm 99% sure. Can I predict? I don't know, but in my region, this particular region of Colombia has been, the whole country has been strong for quite a long time, and this particular region for sure. So yes, real estate prices will keep going up, but that's true in many parts of the world too. As far as conversion rate, some people, you'll see a lot, especially if you look into Colombia, specifically into, current creators channels, because of elections coming up. There's a lot of, oh, if the far right candidate, we're having a runoff election in a week. If the guy on the far right wins, oh, this is going to happen to conversion rate. If the guy on the far left wins, this will happen to our conversion rate. Is it good? Is it bad? What about minimum wage? All these different things. But I can tell you, after my research, the reason that the dollar is dropping, and it has, if you put a 10-year graph into Google with I'm backwards here, with the conversion rate, you'll see slowly up, slowly down. Economies change over longer periods of time, a year or two at a time, not, just like giant zing, 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 zings, crazy stuff. If you look at the slopes up, slopes down. And we've been on a downward slope. When I first got here, we were towards the cusp of an upward slope, which I was spoiled. It was at 3.1. And then yesterday it fell just under 3. I'm sorry, not 3.1. I'm sorry. I hope nobody watches that part of the video and stops me, because I meant to say 4.1, 4.1 conversion rate. Whereas yesterday when I looked, it was just under 3.5, which, certainly looks alarming. And a lot of people, even some creators, are saying, oh, it's all this craziness because of the election. But when I researched it, that's not the case. There's two things that are going on with the US dollar and globally, and that is that it's dropping, and for two reasons. The number one reason is interest rates. So because the interest rates have been dropping, they were up over 5 when I first got here to Colombia, the interest rates in the US, meaning that if you need to borrow money, or in my case, if I invested money, the rate of return was decent, whereas now it's like at 3.5. That is what has caused, that's the main reason for that dip down in the value of the US dollar. And again, I don't understand all the reasons, but you can look that up. And the other huge contributing factor is the Mideast war, and the fact that the price of oil has gone up so much. And a lot of people don't mention this on their channels, but Colombia is a big exporter of oil. We all hear about Venezuela, but it's huge. It's like, I think, third in all of South America. And the oil export is based on the US dollar, and that is based on the global price. So right now, Colombia is making great money on their oil. So that has affected the US conversion rate as well. So those are the two big contributing factors. So you know what, guys, we can't predict economics. We can't predict wars or not wars. But having lived almost 70 years now, I know that times change, things change. I consider myself really fortunate to be here, even at the conversion rate of 3.5, because most things that I go out and buy are substantially less expensive here. My entire lifestyle is less expensive, and I live on a tight budget. And boy, oh boy, do I know where to shop. So that's another video. I've made a few videos, and I've brought some snack items, which I'll show you guys, but I'll show you, like, my favorite place is D1 store. So when I get hungry in a little bit, I'll show you. I know where to shop for what, and at significant savings, even at the current conversion rate, that there's no way in a million years you could buy these types of things in the US for the prices that I get them for buying Colombian products. And in the United States, as far as your foods, your meats, your dairy, and your produce are the most expensive, right? In the stores, in the supermarkets or whatnot. It's the opposite here in Colombia. Your meats, your poultry, your eggs, all of that are pennies on the dollar and continue to be. And same thing with your fresh produce, from my salad greens to buying papaya or even apples or blueberries, let alone the tropical fruits, and vegetables too. They're all so inexpensive here. So you can eat very, very healthy, very, very inexpensively here still, even with the change in the conversion rate. Anyway, sorry to get off on that subject, but Michael, you kind of tapped into, quite a bit of that, type of topic. Oh, wow, that's a big question. Hi, Daniel de Cordova. Ooh, I love your name. That sounds like a movie character, Daniel de Cordova. I love it. Thank you for loving my videos. What made you decide to establish near Medellín? Well, that's a huge question. And I would say to watch a lot of my videos to see why. But I would say the weather, the paisa culture was a big draw for me, just simply because I would have been very happy moving to many different places of the world. And I would have expected in a country like Colombia, and especially in going to a countryside area, even though it's only a half an hour or a little more outside of the city, I would have thought this is how I pictured my life. Just totally immersing myself in Colombian culture, enjoying Colombian food, for the most part. I mean, of course, there'd be a little Italian, a little this and that as far as restaurants. And then pretty much as far as music, a lot of salsa music, Colombian folk music. Occasionally there might, you might hear a little rock and roll music in a store or whatnot. But I thought that I would be like fully immersed in Colombian culture. And that's not the case in this particular region, this paisa culture. It's not that the culture itself is diversified so much. So you don't see, a lot of people from all over the world here, in huge, amounts. But you see their arts. So their music, their dance, their visual arts, the theater, all of that is accessible here. So I could go out for Moroccan food for dinner. I could go listen to which I have, a nationally renowned string quartet playing Beethoven, that afternoon. And I could then go to, a classical ballet or modern dance from another country, let's say Asian dance or something. I mean, there's so much that goes on here continuously. It's just a melting pot of different cultural type activities to participate in, as well as cuisine. So that appealed to me as well. And that was kind of a silver lining, though. I didn't even know that was going to be the case. I just fell in love with the people, the warmth of the people, the climate, the beautiful natural beauty that's here, obviously the economics, that my dollar would go so much further here, all of that combined in picking this area. And the infrastructure out here is amazing. The roads, the water, the electricity. Almost all of us out here have fiber optic internet, no questions about it, even me up on my high mountaintop. So all of those creature comforts, those were important to me. Having good flushable toilets and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there are places like typical in Costa Rica where you don't have that. You're driving down dirt road and your toilet doesn't flush. You have to put your toilet paper doesn't flush. You have to put it in the trash can, those types of things. Hi, Brina Faye. You're saying, I'm sorry, I was referring to a real estate lawyer. Well, I didn't see your first comment or question. She has one you can schedule a consult with. Yeah, I do. That's Isabel Roldán. She's incredible. She does real estate as well as immigration law. And she's highly, highly recommended in this area, has a great reputation, and I love working with her. And there's a link below in the description if you want to have a consult with her, which is an hour, and I think her price is $95 for an hour. So try to talk to a lawyer for an hour in the United States for $95. So and she'll give you like the best types of visa options for you, what makes the most sense, and explain everything that you need to do uh, towards getting your visa. And also, obviously, any real estate questions. Oh, and it's super important that you use an attorney because there's no title companies in Colombia. So people use attorneys, and the attorney that you hire doesn't just help at the closing. Now, that's the case. I bought a house in South Carolina decades ago. They don't use they use attorneys rather than title companies, but that's just at the very end, at the closing. So, but that's not the case in Colombia. Your attorney, for so much less expensive, I can't even tell you than a U.S. attorney or title company, they represent you through the whole process. So it's negotiating the offer, setting up the initial deposit in an escrow type account, all those things. Oh, and of course, the due diligence, which is done at the beginning before you even give the deposit. Doesn't that make sense? So they're checking that the title's free and clear, right? And doing a background check on the seller, doing all of that up front before you even embark on a contract. So it's a very, very important way to do it in Colombia. You don't want to be buying or anywhere without, professional representation. And the real estate agents in Colombia don't do that. Real estate agents are not licensed. They're just simply listing agents. They don't really help buyers in any way. So you definitely want an attorney. And I would, even though I didn't rent here, do a long-term rental, I bought after visiting and doing Airbnbs and stuff. I wouldn't recommend doing a rental lease without a lawyer at least looking over the lease and make sure it's okay. And it's so inexpensive to do that, and it makes total sense. How much do I pay? Hi, Wilson, for my internet. And again, I apologize. I apologize all the time. So don't hold me to numbers because I can't ever remember numbers, but it's 20 something dollars US a month for fiber optic internet. So very, very inexpensive. Inexpensive, I should say. Hi, Ramona. How's it going in Bogota? Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Ramona's been following my channel for a while. I recognize a lot of you, not just from my lives, but from my comments on my videos. See, and Happy is saying he promised his wife 40 years ago that they would retire on a Caribbean beach. Happy and his wife, they love the coastal life. The heat and humidity doesn't bother them. That's something, they wanted tropical. So, and, I get it. I lived tropical much of my life, but I also lived in California and I really liked the weather there. And this, where I am at this higher elevation, is more like California, and that's why I chose it. Oh, Diana, hi, welcome. Diana asked a really good question. She says, does the altitude in El Retiro create any sickness for seniors? Altitude sickness is kind of a random thing. Some people can get it, some people don't. I had the feeling I wouldn't because I did the van life for 2 years and I was in Glacier National Park. I was way up high in Colorado and I didn't. And it shocked me that I didn't because I have dysfunctional eustachian tubes. I have a hard time clearing my ears, and that affects like all sorts of things, your stomach, your head, you know, all of that. I'm very sensitive in my ears. But my ears, I have not had a problem. When I climb up my mountain road, I feel a little pop. They clear, they're fine. I didn't get any altitude sickness in van life, and I didn't get any here. But I can't say, not everyone is the same. I can tell you that unless you have a medical condition, and you always want to check with your doctor. So the things that would affect things other than just altitude sickness, which only lasts a couple of days, maybe a few days at the most, you want to check with your doctor if you have any kind of condition with your blood, your heart, or your lungs. Just double check. Am I okay? And just so you know, Medellin is 6,000 feet. Eastern Antioquia, like the pueblo of not just the whole municipality, but the pueblo of El Retiro, and also all of the municipality of Rio Negro, most of it, and La Sea, most of it is at 7,000 feet. I just happened to be at a high peak. I went up higher above the pueblo. So I'm actually at 8,000 feet. But what I have noticed for me personally, and again, I'm not a doctor, always check with the doctor. What I noticed is that when I go to Florida, so I do the extreme, right? When I go back to see family, it's at sea level, and then I come back here. I actually feel when I go back down to sea level, I'm just not, I guess as women that have had children, like having a little bit of queasiness is not a big deal. It's like I had really bad, uh, oh, what's that called? Now I'm having a senior moment. But where you're nauseous in your pregnancy, not just the first morning sickness. I had that. I called it morning, noon, and night sickness. I had it really bad. But anyway, I felt just a little bit nauseous for the first couple of days. A couple of times I went to Florida. A couple of times I didn't feel it. Didn't feel anything in my stomach. No headache. Nothing coming back to Colombia or even Colombia the first time. But one thing I did notice was the difference in the oxygen. So when I walked, and we have uphill and downhill, my community kind of goes up and down. So when I would go on a walk, I would notice that I was kind of, from just walking, it felt like I had been jogging the first couple of days after I got back. So I was like, as I was walking, and then I adjusted after a few days, and that went away. But most people I know that have come here visiting, and obviously I know of a lot because of my channel and the relocation tours that we do. Most people have not been affected because it's not like we're at 18,000 feet or something, but I would definitely check. And I always give the analogy of the Olympic athletes. So, and that's particularly true in the Winter Olympics, when athletes are going to be training in a new location, not training, but going to the Olympics, they usually get there a couple weeks ahead and do their training at that altitude level so they can adjust and whatnot. But generally speaking, in healthy people, if you do get altitude sickness, it only lasts a few days. Oh, Shanti is asking about Huli. Huli's gone on to other things, so I don't work with Huli anymore. But I do work with Tata and Alex for my tours, and then Isabel, who is a licensed attorney for immigration. And she is highly regarded, and everyone that has used her through me, and she's been around many, many years, prior to me, has been very, very pleased with her services. Yes, happy. Medellin. Medellin's amazing. This whole paisa culture, this whole state of Antioquia is unbelievable with the projects they take on, and they actually finish them. In other regions of Colombia, projects like building a bridge or this or that get started, and Like you'll look and it's 10 years later and the bridge is still half done, kind of a thing. That's not true out here where I live, nor in the city in Medellin. And they are underway constructing this entire, it's not really a water park, but it's an actual gigantic lake area with white sand beaches. Just this amazing place where you can actually go to the beach now in Medellin. So that's really cool. And I'm sure, I don't know when it's projected to be done, but they're very on time when it comes to doing things here in this region. Okay, Katina, when renting a place, is it like Airbnb or do they require huge deposits? Does having a visa help when dealing with potential properties? Everyone says Airbnb has inflated prices. Okay, those are a lot of questions kind of that need to be separated. So Airbnb does not require a deposit. Airbnb requires that you pay the whole thing upfront. So I always tell people, you shouldn't do from a distance a long-term Airbnb having never seen it because it's up to the owner or management whether they give you your money back or not. Booking.com has built into that platform refundable. At least every time I've been on there, but always double check and look. And it will say it's refundable up to, what point. And usually it's refundable up to, a few days or a week or so before, but, do double check. But Airbnb, you want to be careful with that. Now, Airbnb is what the owner sets up. I know I did Airbnb in my Florida home when I did van life. And in Florida, there's HOAs everywhere, like there are out here where I live in Eastern Antioquia. Everything's gated. I was restricted. I can only rent for 3 months at a time. You can put into Airbnb as a landlord what your terms are. So let's say that I could have done nightly there or weekly or monthly. I can put in there that if somebody puts in a longer span, so instead of putting in a week, they put in a month, that it automatically discounts 20%, 30, 50%, whatever I want. So that's up to the owner to answer your question. And oftentimes I will see 40 or 50% changes if you go in under that owner and put in more than a month, but it's going to depend. Um, so your other question is, do you have to put a deposit up front? I think you're talking about long-term rentals. Long-term rentals, number one, as I mentioned earlier, you want to have an attorney represent you. And yes, here in Colombia, it is most likely going to be the case that it's not really a deposit, but you're paying more than 1 month upfront. And the additional months can be held in an escrow type account. Your attorney can set it up so that you're protected and the landlord's protected. But in order to be more enticing to that landlord to want to rent to you, that's usually the case. And that makes perfect sense because imagine that, and I would feel the same way if I was renting to somebody from a foreign country. Like, what if, and unless I had like a huge security deposit or something there, what would happen if they just up and left in the middle of their lease and I went to my apartment or to my home? It was completely just messed up, all these, damages and everything. I'd have no recourse because they aren't in my country. So that is part of the negotiation process in getting a rental in Colombia. And I would say that's one of the hardest things about moving here, but there's so many benefits that outweigh that. And I fell in love with the area. I didn't let that bother me. So anyway, a lot of people, feel the same or otherwise. It just, depends upon how you feel, but I fell in love with it here. Oh, Shanti is asking if I'm planning on doing any meetups. I might. That's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. I've thought about that. I was a little gun shy in the beginning as far as safety, being a woman. but I think in a public area and whatnot and doing a meetup could be fun. So yeah, I like that idea, Shanti. I'll add that to my list of things to do this coming year. Oh, hi, Susan. Welcome. Susan and I have talked in a consult before. I'm so glad you could join us. Oh, don't worry. I don't know if you've been, Susan, in any of my other lives, but I go on and on and on. Let's see, I've been talking for an hour and I haven't even had a sip. I haven't even had a sip of water. Oh my gosh. So pardon me. Plus, Susan, I do make my lives available on replay. So you can always watch them again. One thing, sometimes lives are hard to find. So if you go to like the homepage of a creator like myself, their homepage, for their channel page, and you'll see a video section, you'll see the shorts, there's tabs at the top. And you would think that when you click on videos that you would see the lot. You would see, well, the most recent one, right? Because you can sort them, but the default is the most recent is at the top. But no, you actually have to click on the live tab. They're separate, but they're there. All of my lives are there. And boy, oh boy, do I talk. I think one of them, it was like close to 4 hours. And Petunia was alive still then, and she was telling me it was it was time to go out. But I try to restrict them to less than 3 hours. But that's pretty crazy. I can talk that much, huh? That's why my editing takes so long. Just so you know, because I just ramble on and on. I have to put it all together, whether I'm out, in the field or doing it, talking like this to my iPhone on video. I'm all over the place. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you guys are getting some good information. Oh, thanks, Cruise Expert. Expedia also offers um, refundable deposits. I don't know if they have that many Airbnb type rental listings or if it's mostly hotels, but that's good to know. Yes, Gone with the Wind. This area, and I've explained this before. This area is almost all gated communities. I always say that I live in the Hamptons of uh, of Colombia. I mean, it really is, or Hamptons of Medellin, I should say. So it's a very desirable area. It's considered a luxury area. There are other parts of Colombia that, obviously are less expensive, but this is, high end. Most of it's strata 5, 6. But there are neighborhoods that you can go lower strata and have, your rent be 500 a month, and they're perfectly safe and perfectly fine. And you're still surrounded by all this natural beauty and all these, wonderful places to see and things to do and whatnot here. So there's still a lot of options in this area, but yes, HOA controlled. So, here I am. I have, a neighbor next door to me on either side. I would not want this building that I'm in to be available to Airbnb. I wouldn't want a neighbor renting out, so next to my bedroom wall, there's like different people in there every few days. No, I mean, there's a reason for that. And that's the other thing that keeps this area so desirable. It's not a high tourist area. Yes, we get people from Medellin that come out on Saturday or Sunday, or maybe come for the weekend, and they do like, have some country life, experience and whatnot. So it's a weekend getaway type of place. So there are some Airbnbs and some hotels, but not a huge amount. And that's what makes this area so great. So why is it that we have so many wonderful restaurants, so many cultural activities? There's so much going on. Why? Because the people that reside here, it's either their second home, like meaning this is their vacation home, or it's their retirement home. And those are the people, Colombian people, not tourists, that are supporting this area. And those are the people that want, oh, well, I want to have sushi and I want to have Moroccan food. And oh, yeah, I'll support an Indian restaurant. Let's go there all the time and whatnot. So that's what makes this area so special is that it's countryside life, but you have all the luxuries and amenities that you would, I think, in Medellin. I thought I'd be going to Medellin a lot, and I really don't see much reason to go in there much at all, really, other than maybe a major museum exhibit or something like that. Or I do have a couple of friends that live there, so I may go, have lunch there, for the day or that kind of thing and come back home. But I don't really need to go there for really any of my shopping or anything like that. In the beginning, yes. There are, like, if you want to buy all your appliances, yes, there are appliance places here, and there's some big chains like Home Center and whatnot. But there are like true, like huge appliance chains in Medellin. Same thing with furniture stores, stuff like that. There's just more to choose from, and you can price shop a lot better because there's just more variety. Oh, Miss BB, so nice to see you. Aw. Miss BB says, Nana, your videos are always so wonderful. You're so sweet. You're always so good to me in the comments on all my videos. Thank you so much, Miss BB. I really enjoy, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I really enjoy making the videos, especially when I'm out and about. And I know some of them seem like, oh, she's got to be like acting or whatnot. When people meet me in person, they see that it's real. And when I say I stumbled on something, which is so many cases like that, it's true. I really do. I might go up to, obviously, I have to go up to the person and ask if it's okay. But it's literally, I just found the place, like the gym, the soccer kids at the soccer field, a couple of weeks ago, all of that. I mean, it's just, I stumble on things. And because that's how I find a lot of stuff here. I mean, so many things are not advertised. It's a lot of it's word of mouth. And of course, having lived here 2 years, I hear of things. A lot of times I hear about things after, and it's so frustrating. But no, I go out and I explore, and I'm able to share all that with you. So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just found this. But it really is true that I'm just out. I get lost a lot. And when I'm with other expat friends, say in their car, it makes me feel better because they do that too. Waze, we use Waze here more than Google Maps. Tends to be a little more accurate, but either one. You know how even in the US, like it will say, 1 mile, then a quarter mile, then so many feet, and it says turn here, and you're looking, and it's like a driveway. It's telling you to turn. And so you don't know if you just passed it or if it's the next one. And then sometimes you do, it will reroute you and stuff. Well, that happens all the time here, especially because like a street might not look like a street when you're in a pueblo or whatnot, and it's saying to turn, but you're saying that it doesn't look like anything. And then you realize, oh, I passed it, and it could be a while before you can turn around. So that happens to me all the time here. It's an adventure. Gone with the wind. Well, you must be a man because you're saying LOL. You women definitely can yak. I'm a guy, Wade. Oh, okay. Well, believe me, I know many men that will, oh God, talk your ear off that just don't stop. So I don't know if it's definitely, but yeah, we women do. We micromanage a lot of things all at once. So our minds are like, do, 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 do. Men's are more, sort of one track. So yeah, I definitely agree. I agree with you on that, Wade. Shanti asks, what should I do to make sure I have a working phone and internet on touchdown? Well, it depends upon where you're touching down, Shanti. So if you can clarify that, that would help. Most places that you would pick to touchdown, let's say it's your Airbnb or your hotel or whatnot, when you first get here, are going to have internet. And then working phone, you would want to make sure that you just do a digital SIM, when you first arrive. And that's so easy now. You used to have to get a physical card. Now, most phones that have been made within the last couple of years have that accessible right on the phone. Oh, Happy in Santa Marta, which again, for those of you just joined, that is definitely there's permanent residence here, but it's definitely a vacation place. It's a beach area on the Caribbean coast of Colombia. And he's saying that his building only has 4 full-time residents and most sit empty. So it's different. It's a beach town. It's more seasonal. People probably go there from other parts of the world, even, that are cold, and whatnot. So certain times of year, might be busier than others. I don't know. But he's saying that most of it is just people are back and forth. If they do own, it's not their only residence. They're going there for their vacation time, their getaway time. They're not living there year round. Hi, Katina. Katina is saying, thank you so much for your guidance and time today. We fly into your country in September. Can't wait. Well, we can't wait to have you here, Katina. I'm so excited for you. September's a beautiful month here. You're going to love it. Okay, Susan has a question. How do you find a place that is not building too many apartments and houses? I want to have a place that's a little bit more rural, but access to amenities. Oh, that's everywhere here, Susan. It's like there's so many places, for sure. So you have more concentrated areas around, the smaller cities, around the pueblos. And then once you get out on the country roads, most developments are going to own many hectares of property, like where I am. I will give everybody a shot again. I don't know if everybody, sorry. I had to be able to see what I'm doing here. My community, yeah, this is out my dining room. See if you can see. My community has hectares and hectares of land. And that's a good idea, to look into, obviously anywhere. You don't want to be in a spot well, in the city of Medellin, that can happen a lot. Like there's a low rise in front of the building that you bought in, and then it gets torn down and there's a high rise put there. So there's a lot of green spaces. There's a lot of preserve, that sort of thing out in my region. So if you're concerned about that, Susan, I mean, there's so much land here. So if you want to be rural, that's definitely doable here. Oh, I'm sorry, April. Hello, April. I'm sorry if I skipped your question. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm on my laptop, not my phone, so I don't miss any. But feel free to ask again. I'm sorry. She's got the laughing emojis. I know. I'm a little bit ditzy, becoming ditzier in my old age. Oshanti's asking if Tata and Alex have separate consultations. Are they part of your consultation? Oh, Tata and Alex do the tours. My consultations are separate. They're with just me. But once you do a tour with Tata or Alex, then they're accessible if you need them to help you with anything. And I use them as well, and particularly Tata. I come across, like when it was time to pay my property taxes, the website changed this year, and there's certain things I just don't want to make mistakes with. I have a lot of good neighbor friends, but I try not to like just constantly be asking them like their help with everything. But Tata took care of paying my property taxes for me, and it was done right because those are kind of things you don't want to mess up. So I offer to obviously if you do a tour with Tata or Alex, then you have their contact information. All I ask is that you just don't inundate them with, questions and concerns before moving here. That's, they're tour guides. That's not their, they don't have, time to answer 50 million questions. That's what I'm here for. But I do make a promise, and this is a very sincere promise, and that is for my consultation and or tour clients, that when you move here, and that's when you move here, that's not because, a lot of people dream, we all dream. I dreamt about all sorts of things that I never did. It's like, I was in a dream phase. I was thinking France because I took French for 13 years in school through the first year of university. I thought it was going to be France I moved to, and then I realized I couldn't afford it. But anyway, I was dreaming all over the place. So those types of contact information, I don't give out ahead of time. But should you move here and all you've done is a consult with me or a tour, just let me know when you're moved, and I will help you in any way I can. You can just contact me if you need connections of any kind. I'll let you know, and those might morph over time. Could be, what electrician do you use, or this or that. I'm happy to help, but I just have to keep it kind of contained in the fact that I have I think I have over 1 million views on my my videos now, and over 14,000 subscribers now. So I have to watch my time management, if you will, because my videos take a long time to film. I'm not a professional. I'm not actually not good at it. I have an eye. That's my biggest downfall. And I think that's what you all appreciate. I have an eye, but I don't know how to do it technically. So I literally am out and about with this phone. That's how I do it with the phone. I got a little microphone thing. Half the things about the microphone thingy, I don't even understand. And then editing, apparently there's all these really fancy editing things. I tried a couple of them on free trial because I use iMovie, which is it comes for free on your MacBook. And that was complicated. I mean, and I learned it, like the basics of that. And then I'll never forget, it was something I wanted to do. And then I found out it didn't do it. Oh, blur out a license plate. I was near someone's car that I knew, and I was talking to them or something, and I didn't want, you usually blur those things out. Well, apparently you can't do that in iMovie. And so then I don't know, I got a subscription for DaVinci, or I don't even remember what it was called. And I opened up that app on my MacBook, and it looked like the dashboard of a NASA spacecraft. I was like, there's like no way. So anyway, everything I do myself, and it takes me a long time. So usually 3 days out of my week is filming and editing for one video. And then I do consults, and then I do a planning call. I don't do the tours myself, but I do a planning call with each tour client a couple weeks before their tour. We go over, what their prospective budget would be living here, their interests, their lifestyle. And that way Tata or Alex can customize their tour around just them. And so it's not only a private tour, but it's customized. So I do all that, and I am retired. So I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my life here, that I practice what I preach. That's so, so important. When I first started the channel, I didn't know. I was doing Wednesdays and Sundays. And then I realized, oh my God, look. And I had to wake up one day and I said, you know what? You have stress in your life. Like, what are you doing? And so I changed things. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing up all this is because of the fact that I only try to bite off, so much. And there's a reason for that. And so there's a reason why there's a reason why I do the consults. I mean, otherwise every single email question or whatever, just writing an email for me takes me forever. And I think that's probably also because I was really blessed. I went to private school my whole life. But boy, oh boy, were those teachers small classes. You had to be, in conversation all the time, question and answers, like let's discuss the novel. And then you had to write these. I was writing papers like every night and having them scrutinized, and they had to be absolutely perfect grammatically, but also with topic sentence, support your topic sentence. Is your conclusion paragraph, all cohesive, all that stuff. So this is my crazy mind and how it works. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. So was also giving time for everybody to kind of catch up on the chat. So hold on for 1 second while I see where I left off. Susan, thank you. She says, I don't think you're ditzy. Thank you, Susan. Daniel says, based on your experience between El Retiro and Rio Negro, which are cities growing fast? Is there a difference between these two cities? Okay. Well, Daniel, I explained this in the beginning of the video. What's very, very important for people to understand is that Rio Negro and El Retiro are not just the dots on the map. Yes, there is a downtown Rio Negro, and that's a small city. Yes, there is a downtown El Retiro, and that's a teeny tiny historic pueblo. But guess what? They're both municipalities. Those are like counties in the US. So within them, like it takes me 15 minutes to get into the pueblo, and I'm in the county of El Retiro, but I'm not in the pueblo at all. So where I am, way up high, I just scrolled and showed you like all this like wilderness beauty. There's not much building at all. There's other sections of the municipality where there's more building. And that's very true in Rio Negro. That's a big municipality. You have Gualandai, you have San Antonio, you have Llano Grande, and all of that fingers back into even getting into La Ceja. So that's so important for everyone to understand that this area, one of the biggest mistakes that you can make in researching this area before you come or even when you come here is to hyper focus on one dot in the map. I mean, you just absolutely can't. You have to sort of experience the whole area. And it's not big. For me, I'm in one whole far end, probably the furthest you can get away from downtown Rio Negro in these two municipalities. And it still only takes me like maybe 35 minutes down my mountain and to get to downtown Rio Negro. So, I mean, that's like nothing. And if I were down at the bottom of the mountain, it would be even shorter. So it's just not a big spread out area. And so to answer your question, what area is developing more? It all is, but there's still plenty of quiet pockets all around. So try not to lock in. A lot of people look at my video, they fall in love with El Retiro because I show that cute little pueblo and they see my view from my apartment and they think that's where they want to be in El Retiro. This view that I have is a airplane view. I'm super up high. You should see the views. I'm jealous of friends that live down lower because instead of like looking down and I see the mist like way down low, like I'm in a plane. When you are down lower, which is still at 7,000 feet, you're seeing the mountains right in front of you. I'll talk about gorgeous views, and you can look at my videos and see when I'm down lower at the views. They're, I think, even prettier. So there's views all over the place. Obviously, if you end up in a home or apartment with a view, it's most likely going to be more expensive than without a view, but a lot of them have garden views. I mean, one of the most expensive parts of Llano Grande, super high end, those homes, and I've been in a couple of them, they don't have any view at all. They have gorgeous backyards. I mean, more than just a yard. I mean, absolutely stunning. And you don't see the mountains, but all the vegetation, all the birds, all the landscaping, the pool area, the thing is just absolutely gorgeous. So there's a variety here, I guess is the best way to say it. So try not to look at the spec, try not to hyper focus, come visit and see the region, all within a 35-minute drive of one another to decide. And when I looked for a property to buy, I didn't say I only wanted to be in the municipality of El Retiro. I didn't say that. In fact, I almost bought in San Antonio, which is part of the municipality of Rio Negro. And then I fell in love with apartments that were going up, and I was going to put a deposit down on one. I saw the view in photos from the real estate agent. It looked perfect, and then when I got there, you could see the solar panel of the pool. It had an indoor pool, but that was part of the view of from this apartment, and I didn't want it. But I could have very easily, if I had liked the view and because the apartment was great, I would have bought that. I would have been living there. So do I go to that area a lot? Yes, because it's really close to where I am. But it would have been a Rio Negro address because of that county, not an El Retiro address. So I hope that helps. Hey, Drone. Oh, I was talking about with the SIM card, I was talking about when you come to visit. Um, Yeah, you have a lot of options of what to do. Some people, they just drop their US number and just sign up for Tigo or Claro, and it's like 10, $12, maybe 15 at the most a month with unlimited data, and just do that. I find that with the two-step verification, it's probably best to have a different service than just local Colombian service because I don't know if all of you realize this, but when you can't text, like the normal text message we do, like if I went to France, you can't text message from the US to France. Now, if they're both iPhones, for instance, yes, because that's called an iMessage. It's not really truly an SMS text. So you just have to be careful if the texting is important. There's a lot of different options that you can have in going about. But yeah, I was talking about SIM card for when you visit. Oh. Oh, Happy's talking about, I have another YouTube creator friend. She's a cyber friend. I haven't met her in person, and that's Sarah Burdick. She's in a farm. She's actually north of me, but she's in my region. But she's very remote. Like I say, I'm remote, but I mean, come on, I'm in like this sort of luxury apartment community. But no, I mean, she's amazing. I love her channel. She and her, I don't know if it's boyfriend or husband, they have a farm, but it's on literally on a hillside where they grow all sorts of things. Very incredible lifestyle. It's just absolutely beautiful, but hard work. And I mean, and that's something, I am not a handy person and I have a brown thumb, so that lifestyle is not for me. But I love watching things like that. I love people that are like off grid and do their own thing. And I just think it's just such a cool lifestyle. Oh, we have, let's see, cruise expert and Happy are talking about um, healthcare options. Yeah, there's many different healthcare options. A lot of people just pay out of pocket. I have health insurance. And what I can say about the just medical in Colombia in general is it's state of the art. I mean, the quality of the hospitals, just the doctor's offices and everything are phenomenal. I'm fortunate because I'm right outside of Medellin and, the best of the best doctors are there, obviously in Bogota, but pretty much anywhere you go. Even in this area where I am, there's two very good hospitals, one in downtown Rio Negro and then one in Llano Grande, which is closer to me, which is very luxury looking. I love it. It's called San Vicente Hospital. Their main hospital is in Medellin, but it's absolutely beautiful and it's very close to the airport. And close to me in the Llano Grande. It's just north of Llano Grande, but again, a regional hospital here. Wilson, hi, Wilson is asking if that's water. Oh, I do need to sip my water or vodka. No, I know I've never been able to drink alcohol. I've just never been drawn to it. I never really liked it. So I'm not a drinker like at all. But yeah, what happens is, so right now, let's see, 10, what time did I start? I've been going for like an hour and a half. So yeah, I get a little punchy after a while. So I know it seems like it's vodka, but I promise you it's water. And actually, I'm a two-fisted drinker. And the reason for that, I got set up for my live, is that sometimes I need a little pick-me-up. This is actually Coca-Cola, but like the bubbles kind of like clear my throat. So I have that too. But now you're going to really think I'm downing the spirits, right? I wish I kind of, oh, I used to say to my friends when I was younger, gosh, I wish I had a vice. It's like, I've never been able to really do anything at all. I remember like being younger and smoking pot and stuff, and it always made me paranoid. Alcohol kind of makes me queasy and I just want to go lie down. I just have never, but I thought, oh my gosh, that'd be kind of nice to just have something to just unwind with. But I don't know. I must have some crazy guardian angel that knows that, oh, she's better off not being able to do that kind of thing. So I just haven't. Hello, Gary. Hello from Newark, Ohio. Oops, I'm slushy. Have you considered getting another doggy? Oh, you know how much I love my little fur baby. Yes, that's so true. I have, but I'm just not ready yet. I know I will at some point, but yeah, I had Petunia a long time and just not ready yet. Hasn't been that long. But thank you for asking. Oh, hi, 19 Moods. 19 Moods is agreeing that medical in Colombia is amazing. Amazing. So is the stem cell therapy and much cheaper than the US. Yes, I've heard that. I'm not in the budget realm for needing that. Stem cell therapy. I've been really lucky with my genetics, knock on wood. My dining room table is wood. That I just don't really have anything serious wrong with me, and I haven't. For someone that's almost 70, I don't have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, like none of those things. I've been really, really lucky. And then also, as I was talking about, I never really could tolerate. I couldn't smoke. I couldn't inhale cigarettes. I tried when I was younger. I kept coughing, and my friends laughed at me, so I stopped. Couldn't get into pot. That made me paranoid. Couldn't drink. That made my stomach feel upset, and all I wanted to do was go lie down. So yeah, so I haven't really done substances, and so I just consider myself, kind of lucky in all of that. But should I need medical, I know that it's absolutely excellent here. Oh, hi, Lolita. It's hard for me to read your name. I think I'm saying it. Yes, it is Lolita. Lolita is asking what kind of help single old people get if they need assistance. Well, there are assisted living facilities here. But what a lot of people do is they just hire someone either full time or live in because it's so inexpensive. The daily wage for someone for any type of home services is very, very inexpensive. It's usually like about $25 a day, maybe $30 a day. So that's what a lot of people do for childcare or elderly care. Hi, Joy of Decorating. Joy says, when I move to El Retiro or Rio Negro, I'm going to get in touch to find out where are the best places to live. Love your channel. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Joy. The best thing I can recommend for that is for out here is our relocation tour. That's with Tata. She's been featured in a couple of my videos. She is a local expert. She's from the area, but she also lived in the United States for 10 years. So she understands what we as North Americans like as far as just all, types of amenities, living, lifestyle. It just tastes, things like that. It's super helpful, but she is just a walking encyclopedia of absolutely everything and anything. And the nice part about doing a tour with her is that it's private. It's only for you or whoever you bring along. And then I also do a planning call with you a couple weeks before your tour. So we go over what your prospective budget would be living here. So this area is diverse. So she's not going to drive you down the roads that have $2 million US fincas. There's a whole huge estates, she's not going to take you there. You might say your rental budget is, $600 a month to $700 a month or something. She's going to show you the areas for housing. I mean, obviously the places to shop and eat and things like that are, going to be the same, but you could say, that I'm vegan, she'll take you to a vegan restaurant, let you see that, look at the menu. Just so everything is sort of hyper-focused on your lifestyle, your interests, your budget, and that kind of thing. And she covers the entire region for you with that in mind. So it's not just El Retiro. As I said earlier, the region from one end to the other, the longest way is about 35 minutes. Shortest way would be like maybe 15, 20. It's an oval. Yeah, it's a great way to get to know the area and how that relates to you. I know from not having help and doing it on my own, I had to come here a couple times. My second visit, I had to spend a long time. I missed a lot. I'm just super lucky. I found what I did because I didn't see, sorry, I keep looking out. The reason that keeps happening, guys, is because my view, it's like all glass. I know you've seen on my apartment tour, and I've shown you a couple of times my view in the video today. There's so many birds and they come so close to the window, and we have a zillion hummingbirds, and they're just like, bzz. So sometimes when one comes really close to the window, I dart over. Anyway, so that's a really great way if you're here for a limited amount of time to get the feel for the area. You really, really get the feel of what your life could be like here. And then I always recommend, and we try to schedule your tour at the beginning of your trip. So let's say you fell in love with El Carmen and you want to spend more time in El Carmen. Well, then you can go to El Carmen for a couple of nights during your stay, visit a little longer there, that type of thing. But trying to figure it all out on your own, I still haven't even figured it out. Every time I'm in the car with Tata, for instance, she says, "Oh, wait, let me show you this." I'm like, "How did I not know about this?" So I still haven't learned everything that there is after 2 years here. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a few sips here. You can talk amongst yourselves for just a moment. I know people have been writing stuff, and I promise I'll do my best to scroll up. Sometimes when I scroll up, I might not do it far enough. So if I didn't answer your question, just ask again. If it's been a while, it means I didn't see it. I wanted to show you. I thought I'd be hungry, but I'm really not yet. But I brought some things just to show you. You know how sometimes, when you live alone, there's like a lot of food waste and stuff. And I shop on a budget. And one of my favorite stores is Day Uno, which translates to the letter D and the number one, D1. And they have just great selection in their dairy section. I don't do produce there. And I don't do meat, although they do have flash frozen tuna steaks and salmon steaks that I like there. But frozen food, you just don't need to do in Colombia. There's so much good fresh food. You're not going to be looking for Hot Pockets and things like that. The frozen food section, unless you're in a supermarket, It's not even that big. You don't even wanna go there. It's not the healthy way to go, and there's so many great things. Heck, I could stop at a restaurant and get food to go for less expensive than frozen food in the US, and frozen food's expensive here too, well, not as expensive as the US, but you know, why bother when you could just pick up, like as I said, food to go or just make a salad or something at home. That's what I do. But anyway, D1, I wanted to show you a few things, like what they sell, like a lot of their crackers and things are in smaller packages, or they're packages within the package, which normally that costs a gazillion more dollars, right? In the US. Like if you bought, like these are wonderful, by the way, from D1. And there's three big long crackers in each of these. And so they're actually almost too big for a single serving. Like I'll cut some cheese and have this and maybe fruit or something for lunch, you know. But you get 6 of these 3 cracker packets for like $1.40. So I 6 whole, and I use these, you know, like with my meal. So I can't do the math, but that's like very little. And pretty much all of their little individualized things. I like this sometimes in the morning when I'm not having granola. They're kind of like, I think you get even more than 6 of these in a packet. They're sort of like honey graham crackers, but they're so much better. Again, so for a whole, you know, container of these, it's like $1.50. Then I your plain crackers, most of the Colombian plain crackers are like saltines, and I find that boring. So a plain cracker, I get this at D1, and there's a lot of crackers in this. And this is really inexpensive. It's only a little over $1 for, and the reason, like, oh, of course you could save if you buy a big box of Ritz crackers, but again, I live alone, or even if it was me and another person, you know, a partner, I wouldn't wanna open, you know, more than this at a time. And what else am I gonna show you? Oh, this is one of my favorite things. This is a lot of huge cashews in this. You'll have to do the conversion, 70 grams, and it's like $1.40 US. I had to look all this stuff up before I put this on the table this morning because I think in pesos now. I don't look and convert to dollars anymore. And this is a real good example. I don't buy any of the US cereals. They sell them all here. Like, no, or US granola. I love this granola from D1. I don't know if you can see, but there's all sorts of raisins. There's nuts in there. Of course, you know, granola, oat stuff. And there's even like toasted coconut in there. And oh my gosh, it says it's 12 portions, but I guess I eat a little more than that in the morning. I'd say it's probably about 8 breakfasts in here. And this is like maybe $1.50. It's for 8 breakfasts. And I add some, you know, plain Greek yogurt to that, and then my fruit on top, even though it has dried fruit. So let's say I don't have any fresh fruit. I'm out of fresh fruit. Need to go to the fruit market. It has, you know, the raisins, coconut, whatnot, but usually I put some banana on there or blueberries or something like that. So I just thought I would show you all. And then cheese sticks, their cheeses are great. They not only have Colombian cheeses, but a lot of imported cheeses, which I guess they get inexpensively, like Spanish cheeses, Portuguese cheeses. And as I just said, I'm not a drinker, but I always keep a bottle of red wine, white wine, and Prosecco that I get at D1. It's like I just pick a pretty bottle, and it's usually like $5, you know, is what I spend. And I just have that on hand should I have company. So anyway, that's my little D1 tour. Oh, and I get a lot of my cleaning supplies there and my paper towels and all of that very inexpensively. Okay, so now we're going to scroll up again. Oh, good. A lot of people have been writing. That's good. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys. Takes me a minute. Oh, Shanti asks if I'm going to the Medellín Flower Festival. Um, Probably 1 year. I'm not big on like really huge crowds. I mean, it's like insane. And people come from all over the world for it. I did last year go to one of the major malls that decorates everything in flowers. That was absolutely beautiful and filmed that. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go to that. It's kind of like, have I ever done? I love New York City. I always have. Not to live, but I think it's magnificent. But I've never had the desire to go there for the ball drop for New Year's Eve. So it's just stuff like that. And I know it's an amazing thing to see, but I don't know if I'll go. Hi, Edwin. You're asking about health insurance. If you watched the replay, we talked about that a little bit before you joined. Um, and I talk about it in health insurance is just so individualized. It has to do with so many different factors. You have to have, travel medical insurance to get your visa, and then what type after, how old you are, the type of insurance you want, all of that. There's so many different factors. I do recommend after I talk with consult clients, depending upon what they're looking for. I know certain insurance agents that specialize in certain things, and I could certainly, recommend after a consult, who to talk to. I don't. Hi, Brina. No, I don't know. I've never looked into stem cell treatment in Colombia, but I've heard two things. It's at a fraction of the cost that it is in the US. And the other thing is, and again, it's been so long since I heard the difference. The US only has a certain type, and it's not like the best type. And there's something about the type that is done in Colombia that is even better. And again, I don't know why, but that's what I've heard. So just do your research. I'm sure you can find it if you look it up in, AI or Google or something. Edwin is asking which insurance company is best. I do use Sura. You're mentioning you here it's the best. I don't want to say it's the best. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest and it's highly regarded. But I don't know if it's considered the best, but my guess is that it probably is considered one of the very best. And it's very, very well known here. Sorry, the chat's moving quite a bit now, so it keeps bumping around. So I'm trying not to miss anything. Brina asks, what if you need help moving one place to another? Oh yeah, that's super easy. There's tons of moving people and moving trucks and stuff. And that brings to mind something. If I ever did move, uh, I would, of course, I have Tata and Alex and different people to ask and other expats that I know. But I also, my community where I live, the WhatsApp group, kind of like a Facebook group for the whole community, is amazing. I mean, everyone is so supportive and helpful. And I'm a little bit remote on the mountaintop. So if I were moving, I would ask in my WhatsApp group for my community as well, who my neighbors recommend. I'm going to be doing a video relatively soon where I'm going to talk about a number of things, but within a particular subject, I'm going to talk about how important it is to network when you come and to really think about when you move to an area and it's the first time, especially if you're moving alone, do you really for sure want to be in a super rural situation? I mean, they do exist where I am. I mean, you could find, or even let's say, and they exist, oh my gosh, some of these estates. Talk about being able to land a good thing. Some of them have guest houses and then they rent out a guest house, kind of like a Cato Kalin thing. Can you imagine that? Getting like a guest cottage on an estate here for like next to nothing, how great that would be. But anyway, so that's a wonderful romantic situation. But if you're in a planned community like I am and you go out for walks and everything and you're new to the neighborhood, well, first of all your neighbors on your floor or whatnot are all going to greet you like with the major welcome wagon. And then anytime you go on a walk, people are going to introduce themselves. You're going to be able to meet people and oftentimes English speaking people, because where you're going to be living is not going to be the absolute working class people of the area. And a lot of times where you're going to be living, they're going to be bilingual people, so professional people that have been to university here in Colombia and also speak English. So you're going to be able to network and get a lot of help just from your neighbors. So that's something to think about before moving really to any country, to like move into a situation that's that remote. And it could be that you're an introvert. I happen to be. You wouldn't know that for as much as I talk, but I really am. I like my alone time. But I would have had a hard time if I was way out in the middle of nowhere, or if I was in a guest house, I had no way to meet other people. I would not have done as well, or found out about great things to do, or just anything, or just basic questions. I ask friends and neighbors all the time questions I need help with because it's new or it's different than what I'm used to. Okay, drone is back on the phone thing. I'm not a technical person, so I'm going to try to help here. Nana, I was referring to a full-time retiree, digital SIM on one phone, or is it better idea to have two separate phones? One from the US with two-step verification? No, you don't have to have two separate phones. I happened to get a local Colombian number. It was only $10 a month. And I had it added. You can have more than one number or SIM card on your phone. You don't need more than one phone, would be my answer for that. Hi, Andre from Canada. Andre, so nice to have you. Oh, okay. So I wasn't going to say any details about you, but you spilled the beans right here in your comment. Yeah, Andre says, as Antonio and I prepare for our move next year, what was the turning point that made Colombia truly feel like home for you? Wow, that's a heavy question. That's a really good question. And by the way, I'll preface this by saying that Andre and Antonio came. They've done a consult with me. They came, did one of the tours. They fell in love with the area, and they're actually moving here. They're coming in the next few months. I'm so excited. I can't wait to welcome you here. That's fantastic. I would say that having a place feel like home does take some time. I can't really pinpoint a particular time. It's interesting because when I go back, because I have my adult children and my grandson who's a teenager back in Florida, I still call that home, but this feels like home too. So my answer would be you can have more than one home, but I'm a nesting type person. I think most of you know from my apartment tour, I like, things to look a certain way. It just gives me joy. I'm a visual person. I just, once I moved in and got everything set up the way I wanted, I felt very much at home because I'm such a nesting person. And then, of course, getting to know people, as I just mentioned, my neighbors, all of that, it felt more and more that way. And I must say, when I took the trip to Europe, which, I'd been here over 2 years, but when I came back after Europe, that trip is great of a time as I had and everything, it really made me appreciate Colombia. And I felt so grateful for living here, as opposed to, other lives I could have chosen there. I felt very, very good and so happy. And a lot of that, Andre, had to do with the people. And it sounds so cliche, the people are warm, but I cannot, and I know it's true all over Latin America, but I am telling you, and the Colombians will tell me this, that it's not just Colombia, it's this region of Colombia. It's Antioquia, and particularly the Paisa region of Antioquia, which I'm in, and Medellín is in. It is off the Richter scale warm. I mean, you are instantly, with your neighbors, considered one of their family. And it's such a comforting feeling. So that came relatively quickly, Andre. And you'll see, because I know you're going to be also in a gated community as well. And you'll see it's very easy to make friends, and very close friends, and people that can depend on, that you can depend on. And the Colombian people are so helpful and so giving, that the fact that you're new makes them probably give even more than they were just to, just any old, Colombian resident, happen to move in next door. They're going to see you as a project, but a good one. So they're going to want to help you in as many ways as they can. Oh, Happy is bringing up Rappi, which is a great delivery service. You can forget about Uber Eats in the US, and what are some DoorDash and all that. Yeah, those things are like crazy. You order something and there's like all these other fees that add up to almost as much, if not more, than what you ordered to eat. It's crazy. Yes, there's a delivery fee, but it's small on Rappi. It's next to nothing compared. And Rappi will even stop in multiple shop for you. So it will stop at the grocery store, get you, whatever, your milk, your cereal, whatnot. Then it will stop at a restaurant. You see the motorcycles everywhere. They have like insulated carriers on the back of the motorcycle to keep your goods, cold or hot. So it's super nice. And in the region that I'm in, most of it has Rappi, but again, remember, I'm remote. I'm on a higher mountaintop. In my little region, there's a Rappi. Can't remember what we call it. I use it, but it's a Rappi knockoff, and it actually has the word Rappi, but some other words in it. And it delivers, but it's not as sophisticated like on Rappi. It's like Uber Eats. On Rappi, you can go in, you can see every item at a supermarket. You can see the restaurant, the full menu, everything. And you, right in the app, you're ordering, as opposed to the smaller service, because I'm more remote, that I actually have to pull up the menu. And then oftentimes I'll send the WhatsApp message, oh, please deliver such and such. And then then they'll write back and say, oh, we're not delivering from that restaurant today, or whatever. So, it's back to the drawing board. But most places have Rappi here. So it's a great service. Oh, Drone, you're so sweet. You're doing the PR for me. Thank you. I love you, Drone. Public service announcement from Drone. Drone says, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You're so sweet. Thank you, Drone. I appreciate that. Yes, happy. WhatsApp groups are wonderful here, as well as Facebook groups to help with your expat needs and getting to know other people. Yes, happy. If you're in a strata 5 or 6, you're in the upper crust, which upper crust for Colombia is very, very affordable for us in the US. But absolutely. And there's very little, for some reason, Eastern Antioquia, um, almost all the luxury places are listed as strata 5 rather than 6. And I don't know why. But just so you know, the stratas actually are set up because Colombia, for instance, for utilities and things like that and taxes, people of lesser means aren't paying the same rates. And don't worry about utilities. What I'm in a strata 5 and my electric bill is less than $30 a month. And my gas bill is about $7 or $8 a month. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about it. But somebody that was living in a strata 2 or 3 is paying much less than that even. So I wouldn't worry about utilities, but things like that, your utilities, your taxes are strata based. So I don't think it's always good to look at a community and whatnot, not to say, oh, I have to be in a 6 or whatever, because there's very little difference. I mean, obviously, if you drop down, from a 5 to a 3, something like that, it'll be pretty obvious why, and it'll just be, smaller neighborhood, strata 3, more local people, that type of, not local, I mean, of course, it's all local people where I live. There are very few expats. I mean, working class people, as opposed to the more affluent retirees and things like that that are out here. Brenda says altitude sickness is a thing, by the way. You spend a month in El Retiro. It can be a thing for anybody going anywhere. Some people get it, some people don't. I was lucky I didn't get it. So the best thing to do is kind of judge according to your other travel. This area, depending upon where you are, is Medellín, 6,000 feet. El Retiro, Rio Negro, almost the whole region is where I am is 7,000 feet. I'm up on top of a mountain, up above El Retiro, even though I'm still in the municipality of El Retiro, but I'm up at 8,000 feet. So if you have any type of medical condition with your heart, your lungs, you always ask the doctor first. You give them the altitude before you even visit a place. It's very, very important. I need to say that disclaimer because I'm not a doctor. You need to check with a doctor. But yeah, I mean, anybody can get it. But I know in most cases, altitude sickness is something that you adjust to. But one thing you will feel, whether you get altitude sickness or not, you will feel if you go on a more strenuous walk, like up a steep hill or something, you'll feel a bit out of breath the first couple of days or so before you adjust to the change in the oxygen. Hi, Walter. Welcome. Walter asks, how do I contact you in order to set up a consult? Well, in the description below is a link, or you can go on my website. There's a link there. It goes right to my booking calendar. So you'll see it there. I charge $75 for an hour. And if you've been in one of my lives before, you can, Walter, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself, not at you. I just ramble. I just go on and on and on and on. So I've never, unless the client has said I have to go, ended in 60 minutes. I usually talk and talk and talk. And so typical consult, and I don't charge more for it, is like 90 minutes. So I always say to people, we're not finished until we're finished. Because I like to answer all your questions. And, I also like to get to know you. So, we could talk about a few different things here and there and interject. We have a true conversation, and as well as me giving you all facts and answers to questions. Yes, happy. It is very freeing and liberating to downsize. Some people have, a problem with it. Others don't. I tend to like to purge. I feel good when I'm organized. I wouldn't call myself a minimalist, but I did have to, pare down a lot, and it felt good. The other thing too is in the United States, we're so consumer oriented. We don't realize that we're fed so much stuff, and always wanting the newest, always wanting the latest. The one thing I like about my apartment living here and having downsized immensely in square feet from the condo that I had. It was huge in Florida to where I am now. I only have so much room. And I have the stuff that I need. Like I have enough smaller kitchen appliances. Whereas in the US, if I, was, I don't know, in a store, like even in Target, like going down, like you end up going down the coffee maker aisle, or you see a new blender, or you're just kind of the latest NutriBullet or whatever. It's like, I mean, here I don't have the desire for 50 million different appliances. I have certain small appliances that I use, and that's enough. Obviously, I have a microwave, all the creature comforts that one would need. But I don't know. I don't consume. I don't feel the need to consume. And same thing, with clothes, shoes, all of that. Oh, I do dress up a bit sometimes when I do a live, and I like to dress nice sometimes when I'm around and about town, just on the videos. Gives me an excuse to wear something else, because most of the time I just wear like running pants, athletic pants, what they call those quarter zip things and stuff, almost every day here. Um, so you don't have to dress up. You can get by with very little stuff here and feel very, very comfortable. It's not necessary to shop a lot. Edwin says, I have seen some strata 5 and 6 in most catastrophic areas, like by a beach. Some lesser ones in better locations with less water and electricity issues. I don't know what you mean. I'm up a rural mountain road, and the longest I've been out of electricity has been like 3 hours. And that's because a pine tree fell on transformer or something like that. The electric company, which is EPM here, is excellent. All of our power here in this region is hydroelectric. It's clean power, which is great. All of our rivers and streams are super clean. Oh, and by the way, this is just off on a tangent. I don't even think it was on one of my videos. I think it was on another. It was either Ian's, another local creator's videos. Said, "Oh my God, that river is so dirty." Like talking about the El Retiro River, and it's not. It's got a clay bottom, so it looks brown. But I live in the mountain that feeds the river, and I can tell you, because I have a couple waterfalls up here. I even have a little stream I have to cross on the road to get up to my development, and it's crystal clear blue. So we do have some areas with red clay here, and so that's the base of the river in El Retiro. So yeah, it's not crystal clear, but the water quality here is clear. There's an enormous amount of mountain rivers that come gushing through the region, and that's what powers our electric. Gone with the Wind, or Wade, is asking, oh, we're saying, oh, you need a consult with me? Well, great. I look forward to meeting you. We do it on Zoom, so we get to see each other. Unless you want to stay private. Nobody's done that yet. Everybody's wanted me to see them, but I'd be fine with that too. Brenda asked, did you feel separation anxiety from your things when you left Florida? Well, actually, Brenda, no, because when I decided I didn't want to go back to work and I retired, I think I mentioned this earlier, and I've done a video on this. I actually did van life, but I was in a super nice Class B Winnebago van. I did that for 2 years and rented out my space. So I had to, I put stuff in storage though. I mean, I wasn't that daring that I like moved from a huge condo to a little van and got rid of everything. But I learned sort of to live more minimally. And then slowly but surely, I downsized my storage to next to nothing. I have some things at my daughter's house. But Yeah, I kinda did it in stages, and when I talk to people that are moving here, I say, if it's hard for you and you are going back once, twice, 3, 4 times a year, whatever, wherever it is, I always ask, do you have family, friends? Are you gonna go back at all? Then get a storage unit if you're worried about it. I mean, obviously, you don't wanna do a huge amount. I did, like, the teeny tiny, closet size and stacked up some tote boxes, and then every time I went back, I would, like, go to Goodwill or whatnot. It's kinda like the what if stuff, um, that you think, well, and a lot of it is being frugal. Like I remember, I had a lot of much dressier clothes. I even had some evening wear and stuff because being in the fine art business my whole career and being at even galas and stuff, you had to get all dressed up. I thought, oh my gosh, if I'm invited to something formal, um, I have to go and try, well, first of all, I'm 5'11". I don't think I'd fit into, boy, they have beautiful formal clothes in Colombia. The women dress so well. I don't know if I could fit in their sizes, but anyway, so, I ended up getting rid of that stuff, but at first I thought, "Well, maybe I might need it, or maybe I get invited to something back in the US," but I did keep a couple of, dressier things, and one of them came handy at an event that I ended up going to when I was back in the US. So it just it just takes time, but, a lot of times when you downsize, and I used to, like, clean out closets because 'cause I'm a bit of a purger anyway, I would ask myself, like, "Have I worn this or have I used this?" Like, I mean, sometimes I'd look at something and it had been, like, 5 years, and I think, "You know what? You don't really need it." But when you kick yourself, the thing is when you kick yourself, and sometimes it's Murphy's Law, right? You just gave it away or you just sold something on Facebook Marketplace, and sure enough, 3 months later, you're like, "Oh, I could have used that. Instead, I had to go out and spend this money." So, I think that's the biggest deterrent, but I suggest, doing a bit of storage, and you can downsize it next trip, or in subsequent trips, but, you have to do what's comfortable for you. There is nothing set in stone, and if it's, listen, I talk to, and sometimes it's men. I've talked to some men that are literally, they're now moving here, and they're moving here with just the suitcases. They're fine, you know, and, more power to them, but, I had certain quality things, and I'm glad I did the palette, and I'll bring this up, like, I have a really nice Japanese knife set, like, kitchen knife set. I could have gone to Dollar City here in Colombia and spent next to nothing, gotten knives, but those wouldn't have lasted and stuff, so I kept some of my better quality things, and I shipped those because I knew I'd have them forever, and that it made more sense to pay $1,100 for one pallet of, like, really important stuff, and that saved me from having to buy all those things when I got here. So it's a fine balance, it really is, and it's up to you ultimately. Okay, I'm gonna take a beverage break here. See which beverage I want. Talk amongst yourselves. That's from an old Mike Myers Saturday Night Live skit, by the way. Okay, Edwin asks, "Do I recommend having a car?" I answered that earlier, and I got a car because I picked this apartment to buy, and it's up a remote mountain road, so there's no bus service up here, and the Ubers don't always like to come up this far away from, like, normal civilization. So I knew that I had to fit into my budget a car. So I could have gotten a larger apartment than I did, but I got a smaller apartment to fit the budget of my car. But I must say that having a, if I lived in Medellin, absolutely not, I would not have a car. I can't stand the drive in the city. There's major metro, public transportation, always Uber accessible. And by the way, Uber here, even out here, is very inexpensive, a mere fraction of the cost of the US. But I worked that into my budget. But what I must say, because I do have a lot of expat friends that live, close to the pueblos themselves, not just El Retiro, but they walk everywhere and that they have to go further. They do an Uber and whatnot. But it is, cars do give you a convenience. And I wouldn't have been able to do this channel. I'll tell you that. It would have been, I shouldn't say I wouldn't be able, it would have been really hard to show you all the different things that I go out and do and find and everything, just using public transportation and not speaking Spanish that well still. I mean, I can get along, but not that well. Um, Trying to meander and find places to film, and then and also being a woman alone. I mean, I could be off in the middle of nowhere, filming and whatnot, and then I'm standing on the side of the road, like waiting for my Uber, and then knowing my luck, I'd have no umbrella, start the rain. Just like, and then before, when I had Petunia, I was picturing that as well, like my life with Petunia, just picturing like on a highway, because not all the bus stops are like covered, that there I'd be with my cute little dog and standing there. I read the bus schedule wrong. It's starting to rain. We're getting soaked, and I've now got to wait 90 minutes for my correct bus or something. So I'm really glad that I have a car. And there are certain car brands that are manufactured for this market that are far less expensive than buying a car in the United States. So, but if you look at getting, the whatever Toyota Highlander or something is your favorite car in the US, is probably more expensive here. But there's Renault here, there's Kia, there's a lot of brands that are sold here, and BYD, which I'm not going to go into my BYD, but I traded my car in for an electric car. I have a BYD now, and I'll be showing you guys on a video soon. I actually have footage now. Since I came back from Europe, I have more footage sort of backlogged, because it takes me a really long time to edit, guys. I mean, it's a lot of work. I'm technically challenged and I do it all myself. But anyway, I have that video, so nothing is timed. And that's true of most creators. You're not, if it looks like they were just there that the day before they're showing you the video, most likely it's not. And some people I watch, it's actually that are doing seasonal things, I'll watch, and they're in their home or whatever, and it's like snowing outside, and I'm watching it in June, and I'm like, oh no, and I understand that, because they have to, in order to produce videos, they have to have a backstock, and you have to have a life. I mean, things happen in life. And so I'm working towards that, is having more sort of videos in queue, so that if something did happen, I'm not like, anyway, enough of that. Time for a little more beverage. Oh, let's see, 10, 11, 12. I'm going on almost 2.5 hours, guys. I am cutting it off at 3 hours, just so you know. Pretty wild, huh? That I can talk this much. Scary. And you wonder why I'm single. No. Oh my goodness. Hi, Rewriting My Story. Oh, I love that username, Rewriting My Story. That would be a great title for a YouTube channel too. Is it easy to rent a car for weekend exploration? Yes, all the car rental places are right at the airport. They're all around there, and it's very easy to rent a car. You don't need an international driver's license. The driver's license from the state where you come from is fine. And I don't find it hard to drive out here. I would never drive in Medellin. And it's not that they're crazy bad drivers or anything. It's just like a lot of, you have to turn here, turn there. And Medellin, this is a mountain area, so it's very curvy and twisty, and like trying, and Waze and Google Maps are never accurate. They're not accurate in any country. I said this earlier. You know how it will say, okay, in 1 mile, in a quarter mile, in 500 feet, then, turn here, and you're looking, and there's no turn and it's saying to turn. Did you just pass it, or is it coming up? And then try doing that in the foreign country, and they don't have big street signs. They're street signs, Not in the pueblos. Medellin has street signs, but you can't always see them. It's to me, you're just asking to get in an accident because you're trying to figure out where to go, and there's a lot of traffic and stuff going on. So I don't recommend it. But out here, I just don't consider it difficult to drive. There are a lot of motorcycles, and motorcycles will pass you either on the right or on the left because I tend to drive cautiously. I tend to drive with a good space behind the car in front of me. So that's kind of an invitation for other people to come around. I use my mirrors, and that's fine if a motorcycle wants to come around. I'm very careful when I make a right-hand turn because there could be a motorcycle in my own lane, but coming around on the right. So I'm aware of that. But it's not aggressive driving where I am, like not at all. In fact, everyone is super polite. I've only been honked at twice, and it was because I made a boo-boo in 2.5 years. That's been it. And when people honk here, it's because they're saying thank you. So if you let somebody turn in front of you or something like that, they honk to say thank you. They flash their lights at you to tell you you can go. There's a lot of situations where you're going one way and the traffic's coming another, and then you make a left-hand turn, but there's traffic coming at you inevitably. And that's the case to go on my mountain road. I don't have a left-hand turn lane. Someone always slows down and then actually flashes their lights to let me know that I can turn in front of them. And then I honk as I do it to say thank you. So I don't find it difficult driving out here at all. I mean, everyone has different feelings about it, but I don't. You just have to be aware, of the motorcycles. But again, they're not like cutting in front of you like crazy. Like I've never had to slam on my brakes or anything like that here. It's pretty normal driving, I would say. Shanti says, "Isn't Uber illegal in Colombia?" I've heard stuff like that. It's everywhere. So if it's illegal, it's shocking to me. I know it's not allowed at the airport, and that's true in certain airports in the U.S. still. So you have to do a cab from the airport, or use a driver. And I always recommend Johan, who drives me to the airport, and he's been in some of my videos too. He's not completely fluent in English, and is not one of my tour guides, but he's great for local transportation. So if anybody needs help with that, you can always write me an email. I'll send you his WhatsApp. And he does airport pickup, and he does airport pickup where he comes inside the airport and holds up a sign. So you're not going out on the curb because there's 50 million cab companies. It's chaotic at the airport. Makes your life a lot easier. So I always recommend him. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll up here. Hi, Defati. I'm not sure if I'm saying your screen name right. You were just in El Retiro yesterday. Wow. I'm surprised you didn't see me. I was filming in the Pueblo all day yesterday. That's so cool. I hope you had a good time. Oh, Defati, you have Volvo. Nice. XC60 plug-in hybrid. Super. I have a plug-in BYD. Mine's my my not as fancy as yours, than having a Volvo, but I love my BYD. These Chinese cars are amazing. Oh, Stephen, hi, welcome. Stephen is happy that I went electric. Thank you. I'm happy too. I know it's good for the world, good for the planet. How easy is it to find charging there? Well, I wouldn't have gotten an electric car if I couldn't have added the box to my parking space in my condo building. And mine allows it. So, yeah, no problem. Uh, so I would say that most places electrically can handle it, but, it's gonna be up to the administration, the HOA, of a community, what they allow, what they don't. Obviously, if it's a single family home, it's not hard, and when they sell the car, most dealers give you, a charging box too. And I found through referral an incredible, electrician, actually from a neighbor friend, and this man has done in my community many of the charging stations. So he was excellent, just the sweetest guy. And I was able to refer him to some friends that don't live in my community, but I was able to refer him to someone else too. And I'm sure I'll continue to. He was incredible. Oh my gosh. Any type of service is so much less expensive. So I'll give you an example. That same electrician, I didn't have an exhaust fan in my master bath. And I like to take a really hot shower. So it's getting it got steamy in there. And I saw in the wall that's right off of the glass panels of the shower, it was above the mirror. So the mirror would get condensation. I saw some cracks in the paint, obviously it's been 2 years of me taking really hot showers. And I thought I need to put an exhaust fan in. So I went ahead and got the fan I wanted on Amazon. I asked one of my neighbors who knows everything handy under the planet, because he's done absolutely anything possible you could do extra to your apartment. He's done to his apartment, so he knows. So he suggested the electrician. So I had the fan. I did not have the hole. Again, I'm not handy. I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't have a hole in the ceiling in the bathroom, and I didn't have wiring from a hole in the ceiling down to the wall with a switch to turn the fan on. So I hired the same guy to do that, and it cost me $30 for him to install, to put a hole in the ceiling, to wire from the hole down to a switch plate, and it cost me $30. So that just gives you an idea. Yes, you just there's certain things in Colombia that are enormously less expensive than the US, and there are others that are a bit less expensive, but most things when it comes to service are gonna be vastly, vastly different. Less expensive, I should say. I don't get that joke. So happy is saying they say hi by waving the middle finger at you? No, I've never had the middle finger waved at me, ever, in Colombia. Yes, Edwin, you can't get, as a foreign citizen, it would take you years and years to get credit here in Colombia. So no, you can't get a car loan as a foreigner. You have to pay cash for a car. Same thing with real estate. No, it's not hard to get a license. You just need people to help you and guide you to the right place to get one. Oh, I'm so glad, because I have a half hour left, and Corn with a K, asked a good question. I went into this a little bit earlier, but I think it's a good way, it's a good subject to get into, again, one more time. Um, Corn asks, "How are you doing with the decrease in value of the US dollar against the Colombian peso, and how are you budgeting?" So I'm gonna answer that in a second. Before I answer how I'm budgeting corn, what I do want to let everyone know is that I had noticed just when you go on Google and look up the conversion rate, you can you'll see a box will pop up, and you can look at a graph either by the day, by the month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. If you look at like the 10-year spread, you'll see it slopes like this. It's not like this. There might be a little zigzagging if you're looking on a daily basis, but in general, it's slope up, slope down. So when I got here, we were basically at close to the high point of a slope up. It was at like 4.1, and that was a little over 2 years ago. And it has, I can't remember when. I'm so bad with dates and numbers, but at some point it started sloping down. I guess it was about a year ago. I don't know, maybe less. Started sloping down again. So it has gone from when I got here over 2 years ago, 4.1 to yesterday when I checked, it was around 3.5. So that is a drop. You know, again, I'm bad at math. I don't know what percentage that is a drop. So before I get into the budgeting thing, there are a couple of things I want to point out. It is still far less. The conversion rate, the US dollar, that's, 3.5 times the Colombian peso. It's still compared to most countries that you travel to, some countries, like you go to Switzerland, it's even more expensive, to go there on the US dollar. So we're still doing, great compared to living in the US as far as how far our money goes. But it's very disheartening having it get lower. And so I did some research. I was really concerned. Other creators are bringing up, oh my God, if this happens with the election or that, is, our conversion rate's going to do this and that. And I researched it. And the conversion rate of the US dollar, this is a global thing. It's not just in respect to the Colombian peso. The US dollar over the last 2 years has gone like this globally. And so it has nothing, well, it has very little. I shouldn't say nothing. Of course, local things happen, in Colombia, or countrywide things. You have, different things going on economically, politically, all of that affects it, but only a tiny bit. The biggest two things that have affected this conversion rate globally for the US dollar, and I don't know much about economics, but I learned about it, and that is that the interest rates, okay, when you look at the interest rates, when I first moved here, they were like 5.5%, right? And then what did the feds do in the US? They kept dropping and dropping to keep the economy in the US okay, to stimulate other things, to try and make everything right. Interest rates dropping dropped the value of the US dollar globally. And the reasons for that, I'm not going to get into all of that. Again, I'm not an economist and I barely even remember what the reasons are, so I don't want to say I'm wrong. But anyway, that's what happens. So are they going to keep dropping? We don't know. It's like you don't know what's going to happen on that level. Hopefully not. They've come to kind of a grinding halt for quite a while now. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And then the other main reason has been more recent, and that has been the cost of oil. And I was shocked to learn this, and that is that Colombia is a major South American exporter of oil. Like, who would think? Like, right up there with Venezuela. And I had no idea. And I checked and I fact checked and I double checked. And this is true. And that the US dollar is, it's a global price, but according to the US dollar, it matches. So in other words, Colombia's income for the oil that it exports, they're getting much more money now for their oil. It's strengthening the peso, if that makes sense. that industry is strengthening the peso right now because they're able to charge so much more for the oil. And a lot of that oil gets exported, believe it or not, up to the Gulf of Mexico into the US. Believe me, it does. So anyway, those are two contributing factors. And I'm sure there are people later on that are like really understand the economy better than me, that, might say them wrong on some like slight little splinter off area of this, but those are the basic facts. And again, I'm probably not explaining them well, but that's kind of what's going on. So the way that I look at things and I look at my life as I'm almost 70 years old is I have lived through, and believe me, I was in the fine art business all my life, which is a luxury item. And trust me, that is not a good business to be in. It's not recession proof. I mean, it's like people can live without it. So I've been through some really hard times and really great times in that industry. And all I can say is that times change, things happen. Wars, sadly enough, come and go. I mean, believe me, I'm not happy with the state of affairs right now, what's going on in the world, trust me. But things do pass, all things pass, things change. So I'm not hyper focused. I'm not hyper focused on the elections in Colombia. I'm not a citizen here, so I can't vote. I'm not hyper focused on the cost of gas right now. Well, granted, I have a hybrid or not hybrid, electric car now, but things change. I mean, they always change. The thing to do is, and getting back to your question, is you just kind of budget yourself accordingly. So there are ways to feed yourself so inexpensively here. If you're renting and it's time to renew your lease and your lease is going up, then you find a less expensive place to live. I mean, that's always accessible here. But I can tell you, you can feed yourself for pennies on the dollar if you're buying fresh produce, meaning fruits and vegetables. You're buying all the things that are more expensive in the US are less expensive here. Your fresh foods, as opposed to your packaged foods, are really dirt cheap here. So your dairy products, including cheese, milk, eggs, poultry, even fish, pork, beef, all of those types of things. And then there are other things that might be more expensive, like paper towels are more expensive here than they are for the US, unless you buy like the kind that just disintegrate the second you use them. I'm a frugal person. I know I look, super high maintenance, but when it comes to my everyday spending for my cleaning supplies, my food, which I was showing everybody, all the stuff at D1 that I buy and stuff. I mean, I'm a frugal shopper. And I'm just careful where I shop and what I do. And one of the main things I do is I don't waste. I don't throw out a lot of food. And that's important too. So when I buy my fruits and vegetables, I don't buy enormous amounts that are just going to go bad. I'm going to have to throw out. But no, you can live very, very inexpensively here. I go out to a variety of restaurants, and some of them I consider more high end, definitely for Colombia. But I want to show you, a nice restaurant from time to time. And but I mean, honestly, if I didn't have the channel, I'd just be eating menu de dia, which is like $5 or $6 for like a 3-course meal and a drink. So just like, and then I take food home. I did that yesterday when I was filming in El Retiro, and I knew I couldn't eat the soup and the entree with the salad and the whole thing. So I didn't eat the soup, and I got that to go. I couldn't eat all the rice that was on my plate with the entree with the salad. So I threw the rest of the rice in my soup bowl, mixed it all up, and I asked for the soup to go. So that fed me for another meal. So for $5, I got 2 really hearty meals. So you can do that here. I mean, you can still be super frugal, super healthy, just like, at any time in your life when you need to kind of crack down a little bit here and there. But I don't see it as a significant difference. I'm just adjusting, and I know in time that it will change. That's just how it works in life, right? So why hyper focus? But I certainly wouldn't be hyper focused if you're thinking about what country to move to, be so hyper focused on this current conversion rate. I mean, it was at a great rate when I decided to move here, but I knew I could withstand it. I saw that it kind of went up and down slowly over a long, couple year periods of time, up or down. I knew I'd be able to withstand it wherever it was on the slope. So those are the things to look at and try not to hyper focus on what it is on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, we have another question on how I found my condo. We have 15 minutes left, but that's a good question. I think will help a lot of people. Uh, the real estate as progressed of a country as Colombia is, it's not when it comes to real estate, the business of real estate. Just simply because real estate agents aren't licensed, so anybody can sell. So that means like anybody's uncle's friend's brother's cousin might have a listing with one relative's listing and then one friend. So they have two listings and that's it. Don't even work for a company. There are other companies, but they're not sharing with other companies. So there is no MLS. Remember before Zillow, you had to go to a real estate office in the US and they would pull up the comps. Remember that? They'd pull up, they'd be able to pull up on their computer and print it out, in DOS mode or whatever, all the homes in the areas that you're looking at that are in your price range and see what's available, and then make appointments and go and show you. That doesn't exist in Colombia. There's only one type of agent. There's a listing agent. Now, I do know of some real estate agents that work with other agents, and for my consult clients and my tour clients, I do recommend, depending upon their price range or whatnot, there's even a form to fill out on my website if you're looking to buy property. I'm not a real estate agent though, so I just recommend, and I get a tiny little finder's fee if somebody happens to buy something from that particular agency. But I'm not in the business of that, and nor do I aspire to be. But the important thing is that you realize that you need to check all over the place. That's what I did. I didn't even have the luxury of knowing the real estate agents that I do now that partner with other agents. I had no idea. I was going into offices anywhere. I would Google and find out where the offices were, walk in, tell them what I was looking for. A lot of times they wouldn't ever get back to me. I'd have to write to them again, or some agencies would get back to me and it would be like, why aren't you listening to me? Like I said, I was looking in this price range and there's something crazy. So it takes a concerted effort, but there is tons and tons of real estate available in this region. And it's just it's an on the ground effort. You can see quite a bit online, but, and sometimes people will say, oh, like it's crazy gringo prices, because I see on one Fazwa's, which is one of the portals, I see one price and I see another and another price. I see different agents, and all that is that homeowner was working with one agent or agency. They put an ad out. They never took the ad down. Then maybe the homeowner changed the price they were offering at some point, working with a different agency. That's all that is. And then sometimes stuff's not even taken down. It's since sold. There's some real estate agencies, I kid you not, that don't even have websites, that are legitimate agencies, and all they have is Instagram with very little information, just beautiful pictures. Like, you don't know, like that Instagram post was from last month. The house looks beautiful. You see the price, it looks great, but you don't know if it's sold, if it's like, you don't even know where it is. It's like, oh, Instagram doesn't give you much information. That much can be written in the description. So, we're used to this whole nother world in the US. So it takes effort. You can look online, but you really do need to look in person. And The other thing is to ask at the guard gates if it's a particular community that you like. That's a good tip I can give you guys, is you go back every couple of weeks and you just talk to the guard, because the owners will tell the guard if they have something available. I've actually been out and about with friends that were looking. They got in with the guard because the guard called the owner on the phone, and then you go in and you can go look at the house that way. So a little bit of insider tips there on finding the real estate. Oh, Happy in St. Martha saying we have a troll. Oh, I see somebody saying something not nice to Happy. Well, that person, if you say again something derogatory, I'm just going to block you out. So what I'm seeing, I don't know, because I don't know for sure what's been going on in that conversation, and I don't have a moderator, but I'm going to keep my eye out, and I'm only going for another 10 minutes. So I'm so sorry. Um, Happy if somebody said something rude to you. Oh, Edwin is telling this person to get off. Well, guess what? I learned in a thing. Hold on one second. Okay, he's gone, or she. I shouldn't say it's a he. I think I did it right. I'm sorry. I'm technically challenged, Edwin and Happy. Look how bloodshot my eyes are, because I'm almost at 3 hours. But yes, somebody was being off color here and not being nice to my wonderful viewers. So they've gone bye-bye. Not only from this, but from my whole channel. I saw an option to do that. So they're not allowed to go anywhere and comment in any way on anything that I produce. So there. Oh, you're welcome, Cruz. It's my pleasure to spend time with everyone. Yeah, and I promise to go until, let's see, 1, which is 2 o'clock Eastern time. So we got about 9 more minutes. Oh, you're so welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you all learn from me. Yeah, when I created the channel, I wanted to give everyone what I didn't have. I had to sort of do it the slow boat to China way to learn. And a lot of it was luck too. I mean, I just really lucked out, just sort of right place, right time, just getting to learn the area and whatnot, not speaking the language before I even decided to move here. But I have good intuition, and I'm a visual. I saw a lot. I felt the right things from the people. I knew it was the right way to go. And I wasn't wrong. But yeah, just getting myself moved here and settled here and everything, that was hard uh, before I really had the chance to network and find people who could help me. Oh, Edwin says you're looking great, Nana. No, look at these bloodshot eyes. I'm like, all that time on the screen. Hi, Lamusa. Lamusa asks, Nana, from your experience, how many dollars of retirement do you need to live in your area in Colombia? Thank you. I always say to people to not move here unless you have at least $2,000 a month. I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't, you see thumbnails, you see clickbait, on YouTube for all sorts of countries, all sorts of regions, that say, "Oh, I live for only, $1,200 a month." Well, maybe that's true in Southeast Asia, in certain spots and things like that, but I try to be realistic because I don't want anybody coming here on such a thin budget. I mean, you wanna have enough for a rainy day. You also wanna have savings too. I make that very, very clear on my channel and in my consults that you want to be able to afford to leave if you don't like it. You want to be actually able to afford to maybe leave a couple of times. I mean, because sometimes most people that move here, I mean, they love it, but you never know what you're gonna encounter in life. You wanna have that flexibility that I mean, completely move if you had to move, like all your stuff, rebuilding somewhere else, all of that. You wanna always have that there just in case, is a good idea. But don't, cut your budget tight because stuff happens. Now in Colombia, when stuff happens, it's usually not expensive, whether it's medical or dental, other types of services, worried about, oh, am I going to need a plumber or, as I mentioned, electrician or something like those kinds of things. Or you have a toothache. Like you used to think, oh my God, is this going to be a root canal in the crown? I don't have thousands of dollars right now. And I don't want to put it on a credit card. Oh no, oh no. Whereas you have a root canal in the crown here, it's probably like $400 instead of $2,500. Yes, it's much less stressful here, but you do wanna allow yourself some padding, but I would say a minimum of, 2,000 a month to be comfortable here. You don't have to let go of your art, Dana. I didn't let go of my art. Yeah, you bring it here, and I'm not gonna go into all the ins and outs. It's like a perk of my consults, and I'm not trying to push my consult, but I mean, trust me, from being in the art business and directing and owning fine art galleries for 40 years, I know how to ship art, I know how to pack it, I know how to do it all inexpensively. You can move your art, to Colombia. You don't have to start all brand new buying art here, unless you want to. Oh, hi, Shrew60. Oh my gosh. No, I don't do lives every Sunday. I talk a lot. We're gonna end this in about 5 minutes on 3 hours. So I only do a live probably every couple of months, maybe once a month, but usually not once a month. But I give a lot of information in my videos, and actually I have very informational videos, not my around and about the towns videos, that have really much of the information I discussed today I've gone over in other videos of mine. So just kind of dive into the repertoire that should help you. And I do try and announce ahead of time when I'm doing a live. So I do my best. Oh, you're welcome, Andre. I can't wait for you guys to come. Thank you for joining. Andre and Antonio are moving here soon. I'm so excited for them. Yes, the very true happy. The Colombian artists are kick-ass, and absolutely, you can buy more art here. I'm not putting it down, trust me, but I'm saying you don't have to get rid of your art uh, to uh, and start anew here. I'm an art collector, so I'm not one to get rid of art. So bring your art, get more here. The more, the merrier, is the way I put it. So, anyway, well, it looks like we're winding down here, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I don't see any new questions, so I appreciate everybody having joined in. Thank you so much, and I really, look forward to bringing you another, video next Sunday, which will not be a live, but it will be a good one. Hopefully, you all will enjoy it. Thanks again, everyone, so much. Let's see, Drone just said, okay. Yes, that's true, Drone. Aw, thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed Sunday. And I can't wait to be back in touch next Sunday with everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.